Please give a moment of silence for Bob Saget. Hi guys, welcome to Between Nerds Podcast. My name is Drew Philip Elias. I am the co-host of Between Nerds Podcast. I am here with my other co-host, Mr. Aldo Mendez. What's up, buddy?
Hey man, shout out to Bob Saget.
Yeah,
he's probably sucking dick for crack somewhere better.
That's a terrible thing to say.
Why?
About Bob Saget?
You remember that movie?
No.
Dude, I suck cocaine for crack. What was it? The one with Dave Chappelle? Is it Half Baked or?
Oh, that's Half Baked.
Yeah, that's Half Baked.
If you can't tell, Aldo's speaking to somebody else off mic right now. Mr. Christopher James CJ himself is back for the third week in a row. What's up, buddy?
What's up, guys?
CJ needed something to do. I said he could stop by. I just redid the podcasting room. I'm really excited. But today we are here for episode 77 of Between Nerds Podcast. We're going to be discussing the 1993 underground blockbuster hit, if you will, Ninja Scroll. But before that, I do want to go over some housekeeping notes. Please, everyone, in an original tweet, Instagram post, or YouTube comment, use hashtag Down4Nerds. That is DOWNFORNERDS. In an original tweet, Instagram post, or YouTube comment to be entered into our January giveaway. And for every like and retweet, we will be giving to, who are we giving to? The Down Coalition for El Paso?
Yes, sir.
And so far we have one entry. Shout out to Ricky. Mr. Ricky.
Mr. Cuellar.
Ricky Cuellar. Appreciate you, buddy. So far we have all of one entry, and
it's you.
It's you. So for everyone else listening,
come on.
Like you could literally, you're almost guaranteed to win something. Because like if one other person enters, then you're given a 50% chance of winning the monthly giveaway.
Yeah, just use it. You'll win.
Yeah.
Because right now he's at 100% guarantee.
Yeah. Like, what are you going to do? Just let him get away with some free, cool nerd shit? Like, we will tailor our giveaway for our winner.
Mm-hmm. And, but that takes us to fucking Ninja Scroll, man. Crazy stuff. 1993. Really big in America, not so liked in Japan, apparently.
And I wonder why. Like, a lot of times it's like it's the distribution method. Like, a lot of that had to do with, like, how Cowboy Bebop was recepted. Because Cowboy Bebop was never that big, like, in Japan. Like, it was a moderate hit, but it wasn't until it got to the U.S. that it got, like, this, like, supreme notoriety that we see here.
Yeah. And, I mean, it did get banned at the British Board of Film Classifications. They banned, like, 52 seconds of the film.
Well, do we know what 52 seconds?
No. Well, yeah, we do. But starting now, I think we should start talking about the story, because one of the things that they banned was like 10 minutes into the movie.
Like the rape scene?
Yeah.
Honestly, there's a lot of gore. Lot of gore.
Like, it's M for mature.
And it's one of these, like, it's one of those things that's cool to watch so that you can see how people die. It's like Saw almost. You know what I mean? Like, you want to see this unique death because it's like the precursor to like Naruto. Like, the definition of a ninja here is so like loosely defined. Like, it's literally like anybody that can fight working outside of the government. But then it's like gets that Naruto-esque thing where it's just like, I have the power over hornets, over bugs, and I'm a ninja. I'm a really good Ronin. I'm a ninja.
And if you think about it, dude, probably not so different than what Demon Slayer is about, you know?
Actually, I think...
Like the monster kind, like the monster tiers and stuff like that. It's like a demon controlling other demons.
It's just a metaphor for feudalism in Japan.
It's actually funny that you bring up Demon Slayer, because I think the animator or like the creator of this, doesn't he also do storyboarding for Kimetsu no Yaiba right now?
Do we? I didn't know that.
I have no idea.
I'm going through the director's wiki right now. His name is Yoshiaki Kawajiri.
Yeah, I believe he actually does do.
I see the Animatrix on here. I see Vampire Hunter D.
Mm-hmm.
I do not see anything for Demon Slayer.
Maybe I got the name wrong.
But you know what I mean? Like these are semi high profile like things. Like, he was part of an OVA for Batman Gotham Knight 2008. He helped produce the Ninja Scroll show, and the man's like 71.
Oh, I heard that it kind of...
It looked really whack, because I remember I was trying to look for a place to where to stream Ninja Scroll. And right now, we're talking January 2022. There is no place to legally watch the dub. Like, you need to have like an old ass DVD or VHS of the fucking dub to watch the dub legally. So I'm sorry,
because that's what we do here.
Yeah. No, for real. So sorry, Tokyo theaters, but I tried my best because the dub is also bad, like absolute dog shit. Like,
it has a lot of weird moments of like it will be a dialogue piece of, I should have known that they would be over here, and then like his next line is like, just kidding, I always knew where they were. It was.
It's like when Family Guy or like Futurama makes fun of anime. They're making fun of like 90s anime, or like the most recent season of Rick and Morty. There's like a scene that has like anime characters that are like they're like they form a robot, but they're not a robot. What's that anime?
The Voltron?
Yes, Voltron. So they're making fun of like the original Voltron and how shitty the dub acting is.
Yeah.
And it's just like you're making fun of something in 2021 that came out in like 95. So they like, it's super garbage. Like, we even talk about recent dubs that like aren't even done correctly. We were making fun of Demon Slayer last week, and Demon Slayer's like hailed as like the greatest anime in the past like 3 years.
Yes, and by the way, AOT came back. That's crazy.
Huh?
AOT?
Attack on Titan.
I forgot all about those.
Yeah.
Honestly, it took me a while to catch up with the most recent season of Attack on Titan, because they're calling this season the final season, but they split it up into 2 parts. Mm-hmm. And
we already got the first part, right?
Yeah, we got the first part, but like, why call it the final season when it's still 2 seasons? You couldn't have just called the last one the second to last season.
Episodes, right? Something like that.
No, it's like 27 episodes.
For this last one? Oh,
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's a whole season. Like, they started a lot, because they started even before the most recent before it finished like winter season last year. Mm-hmm. But why are we talking about Attack on Titan? You just want to talk about Attack on Titan?
Oh no, I'm just saying.
I got distracted. I wanted to go on Attack on Titan tangent, but Ninja Scroll.
Yes, Ninja Scroll. The dub is shit.
The dub is shit, and the plot is also kind of shit. Mm-hmm. It's just like, what does it remind me of? What's something that we've seen recently that's totally like a statement piece that somebody wanted to make for forever? Because it's totally a bunch of like characters and powers that this director had imagined for forever. But like, he never storyboarded it properly, so it comes off really fucking chaotic and confusing.
Death Note, kinda?
Yeah, like, it reminds me of like a movie I've seen recently, and I can't put my thumb on it. Like, something that had like a lot of potential and a lot of symbolism, a lot of imagery, but like when storyboarded out, it's like, this kind of doesn't make sense.
Tenet.
Yeah.
Huh?
Tenet.
Yeah, like Tenet almost. Like, maybe you should have discussed this one a little more and flushed it out a little bit. Because like, the plot to Ninja Scroll is that there's a secret underground, what do they call them? The Black Shogunate? Like the
Shonen?
The Black Shogun?
Shoguns, yeah.
The guy that leads the underground, right? That runs the black market. And our protagonist is an anti-hero, like he's just a ronin that wants to be left alone. Jubei. And somehow he gets tied into this wild-ass 48-hour adventure, and he has to overthrow the shadow government.
Yeah, and the way it's pacing is fucking, because we don't get it gives you like a lot of different plot lines to what they need to do until like towards like the end, in third act of the movie. You're like, wait, what the fuck's going on? Oh yeah, that's right, and then they push it to the end.
Oh yeah, we're overthrowing the shadow government.
Yeah,
because it's like, it's totally like a Journey to the West kind of adventure. Like 3 random adventurers just kind of get together, and like they're meant to overthrow an evil bigger than themselves, right? Mm. It's every typical anime structure for like an old school shonen ever. But it being in film format, it tells you from the beginning, like it starts throwing numbers at you. It's just like, yeah, we work for a secret family of 20 ninjas, and we report to this one family head, and he doesn't like us. and within the first 10 minutes, we're introduced to like an entire family of ninja that work for like some feudal lord family, and like immediately, like we spend more time introducing these characters than they spend on screen.
Yeah.
Because like 7 minutes into the movie, not even 10 minutes, they fucking die.
Yeah, pretty much. But they let you know that like nobody's safe in this movie. It's pretty cool.
And I do like the world that we're living in though, because even
feudal Japan.
No, but like not just that. At the beginning, when he's trying to cross and he's trying to make his way to wherever his fucking destination is, he gets encountered by a couple of ninjas, the ones that you're talking about, that he bodies like 5 minutes into the movie or 2 minutes into the movie.
Mm-hmm.
We see this one guy who is wearing a mechanical suit of a bigger ninja inside, but he turns out he's a little wimp ass ninja with like a gun.
Oh, I see what it's like
it's like a steampunky.
Yeah, it's like steampunk feudal Japan.
Yes.
I get what you mean. Because, yeah, like that, I think that was, like a flashback. Because one of the characters describes that our main character here, Jubei, had like 5 years ago killed like the shadow government back then too. Mm-hmm. And that's like what I think around where this scene is. Like he's already a badass because Jubei, currently in the modern storyline of the film, he's such like a nicer guy. He's calmer. Like he's not going to just like slash somebody on the street.
Yeah, doesn't he give up the way of the ninja at that point?
And he's not even a ninja.
Like more like a Ronin. Yeah.
He like a Ronin's a samurai without a master.
Yes.
Which describes Jubei. Okay. What makes him a ninja is my thing.
I think the ninja's more of a
like
Western term. I think they call them shinobis.
So nothing about him makes him a shinobi.
But it's still the same thing. It's like ninja, what? Super master assassin of the shadows? Is that what we're putting ninja on? Under?
Well, like none of these people to me are like fucking ninjas. Because isn't ninja about stealth and being in the? Except that one guy.
It lacked lesser humans in more, so we can get like contrast to how.
Yeah.
That shit, how they put ninja here. Because right now, everybody is just OP.
Everyone's considered a ninja. And what I'm looking up, I was looking up the Japanese name, is literally just called Jubei Ninpucho, which is just Jubei's Ninja Scrolls. So, like, that doesn't help me either.
There's no scrolls.
There's no scrolls! Where's the scroll bit? I'm so lost. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of, like, Star Wars, almost. Like, it's George, like, the original Star Wars for audiences then was hella confusing because it's its own world, has all the subtext. Even now, like if we're talking about like the Book of Boba and all this stuff, there's so many characters and introductions and big ideas that George Lucas had that he never got to flesh out originally because it was just so much trying to be put into one movie, and he cared more about like, it's like having a dream about like one character design. Like, oh, I dreamed of Boba Fett last night. I have to make this character. He literally doesn't fit into the movie. I don't care. I'll just give him 10 minutes of fucking screen time because I really want to do this character design. Mm-hmm. That's how all of Ninja Scroll feels.
Imagine if George Lucas made a fucking manga.
No. Like, there's canon Star Wars manga. Like, written and drawn by Japanese artists, but that are considered canon. Okay. It's like how, what was the Star Wars show?
I know there's like books.
With the animes?
Yes, Visions.
Star Wars Visions. It's like Star Wars Visions, kind of, except in manga form. Like, for real, there's whole, like volumes.
Stories. Well, I know, like, the lore of Star Wars gets pretty, like, fucking expansive, like, really massive.
And, so, we're not even following Jubei yet. So, we get that flashback. We go to this modern thing. The
flash forward.
The flash forward, if you will. We're in modern feudal Japan, not old feudal Japan, and we see a village that's like wrought with disease. If anybody that reads or watches One Piece, it's like how the native Wano population is living inside of like the country right now. Like they're starved by their feudal government. They're kind of just left to die. Like there's. The beginning of the movie is freaky because they look like zombies or something. So this corpse of a lady that's totally starved out and diseased,
malnourished.
Yeah, just malnourished, just like stumbles over to the neighboring village and just kind of collapses in front of these guys. They're like, "Don't fucking touch the body!" Like she has a disease. She has a disease. So everyone just leaves like this whole village to die. But that was like the plan because our evil government here is trying to
they just faked the infection.
Yeah, they poisoned them.
Yeah.
They poisoned them to get some, like, hidden treasure that was inside of the village, left from a previous feudal dynasty that had been overthrown.
Crazy stuff. And this is... I mean, right after that, we get to meet our female protagonist, right?
What's her name? Keiko?
No, I think it's
Kagero?
like Kogoro or something.
Kagero?
Kagero, there you go.
Kagero, yeah. And she's, I hate these because it reminds me of Berserk, where it's always like, I don't know what it is about 90s, because like the art style in Ninja Scroll reminds me of Berserk too, like the super grainy, like VHS almost looking kind of recording, and my issue with Berserk a lot of time was the raping. Like, I'm really not comfortable like seeing this, and like 15 minutes in, 10 minutes after the murder of 20 ninjas, we just go straight to raping like the one female ninja, and it's just like, bro, let me breathe. Like,
especially after seeing everybody get like massacred the way they did, it's like, whoa, damn, you started off like that, and then to go to the rape, like, goddamn.
So in this fucking forest where the fucking 20 fucking ninjas go, they get sent by but like a clan in the town, a big family in town, and Kagero and 20 ninjas go check the forest because apparently there's something evil out there. And then out of nowhere, we get like this flying fucking double-sided sword flying around like the forest and just botting every ninja.
The term sword is used like lightly.
Yeah.
It's like a double-headed lance almost. Like, it's ginormous. It's like the wing of a small plane connected by like this little fucking wood handle, and this giant 400 pounds man is just like swinging around like a boomerang.
And just killing everybody.
This is murking everybody. And like they spent the first 5 minutes of the movie being like, yeah, we're the most elite ninja family ever.
Tasai. That's his name.
Tasai. We're gonna do anything that the boss says. We're gonna go instantly. Everyone just gets murdered by some random loser named Tasai. And then we start getting like these. When I'm saying it reminds me of Star Wars, like Star Wars always talked about, ooh, the chosen one, the Force, like the audience was supposed to know what that was in 1979. Ninja Scroll treats it the same. It's just like, ooh, we're the 8 demons of Mukabushu or whatever the fuck they're called.
And we're supposed to be like, ooh,
yeah, exactly. I'm supposed to be like, oh shit, the 8 demons of Mukabushu. Like, it feels like something that like Oda's writing in One Piece would make fun of.
Correct.
Because that's something like Oda does a lot, where like he'll just bring up. If the idea of One Piece is you're going from one isolated country to another isolated country because it's a world made up of islands, everybody has very distinct cultures, and like there's not a whole lot of communicating between certain islands, so they have this very like rigid history and structure. And that was, honestly, the more I say it out loud, I think One Piece is a metaphor for Japanese feudalism, because Japan historically never wanted to open up the country.
Yep.
And that was one of the plot lines in Samurai Champloo. Was that there was one port at the south of Japan that the Dutch could trade with. Like, nobody else in, like, the rest of the world. Not China, not Europe, nobody. The Dutch could trade, like, spices in this one southern tip of Japan. And that's how all of One Piece feels. And that's kind of how, like, this movie feels. Because it's like, you're living in Japan. You're living in this hyper-isolated monoculture, like everyone's gonna know what the 8 demons of Mokobushu are or whatever. I keep saying Mokobushu, and like I literally don't remember what they're called.
Probably not. Probably,
but it does. It like barely even matters though. But so the what's his name? Sai is just murking fools. The one of the I guess my favorite death when this ninja families die is when this one, like the head ninja just gets his arms like ripped off.
Yeah. Oh, that was gruesome.
While the girl's watching. Like there's this one, I don't know. The subtext I was getting was that she's a virgin because she's a warrior ninja. It's like being a fucking warrior monk or something. You know, like it's like the Pope going on Twitter Friday being like, people need to have more kids. Shut up, you 7-year-old virgin. Tell me what to do. But it's like that. So she's just watching like her man crush Monday just fucking get like his arms ripped off by this 400-pound rock monster.
And for a second, I mean, I was watching this. I believe I watched some of it before, but I don't know if I was watching like.
You know where we watched it? I watched it. So.
Oh, you're right.
At Common Ground. So there used to be this bar in El Paso on the east side that I used to work at called Common Ground, which was a craft beer bar where I was working at for like 6 months, like back in like 2019. And I used to always host like anime nights on Thursdays. And this was one of the suggestions I got one time from Lloyd Parker, who used to like co-host on the podcast with us. And so I never got to hear it because I always had like, fucking bar music playing. But like I remember, because they had giant projectors all over. And I just remember just looking up from like cleaning a dish or something, being like, what the fuck is this, bro? Like,
because it's well done, bro. For the 90s, I think it's very well done what they wanted you to see.
It's just crazy how much is in motion. It reminds me of like thinking about Redline. Like, so you're telling me some nerds were really sitting here and hand drawing this?
Because there's even like, I mean, in this timepiece that we're here in Japan, like even like ornaments on their hair or what they're holding their hair with, if it has like 3 little metal shavings, as decoration or something like that. Like those things are in motion, and you can even hear them on the sounds that they added. You'll hear like the old man's like cane walking up, and stuff like that, and it looks crazy. And they put the shine to it because they're under the moonlight.
I think there might be slight CGI. I wish I had looked it up before. Because
I'm sure.
Because you can barely see it in some character modeling. Like with the guy with the hornets' back, there's like a jump he does where it looks like a CGI model for a second, but it's so quick, like you don't see it. The one that I think is CGI that I can't prove is, so Sai, the 400-pound rock monster, killed all the ninjas with the giant double lance sword thing. He picks up the girl right away. He's like, ooh, girl. Finds like a
room.
An abandoned like temple. Which is sacrilegious in and of itself, you know what I mean?
And then they add more corny lines when he's just like, I'm ready to have my way.
He was going in on the foreplay, though. For somebody that was being rapey, he wanted his foreplay, bro. He's macking on her corpse. He's licking on all these teeth. Like, he's so big, he shoves like a whole C cup in his mouth. He's like, nom, nom, nom.
I think the wildest line was he's like, don't think it's beneath me to rape like a dead body or something.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, shut up, you stupid bitch.
Like, if you try anything, don't think I won't rape a dead body.
But
that's wild.
He's licking her up and down. Like, the scene that got me was like, he's literally like splitting her legs open, like hanging one in the air, and he's about to eat her out. Like, he's about to go
down to that pussy.
He's hungry for some puss. So like, he goes for it, and that's when like Jubei's in the background. He's like,
hey, do you have directions for this town?
He's dressed like a wanderer, like that giant straw hat that you see in like feudal Japan a lot. And he's just a Ronin.
The Raiden hat?
Yeah, exactly. It's just a straw Raiden hat. He's just sitting in the background. Like, I guess that's the ninja part. Like, he just snuck in without the guy even hearing him. He's like, hey, stranger, do you know how to get to this town, this town, this town? And what's his name? Sai doesn't think anything of it. He's just like, get out of here, stranger. Can't you see that I'm busy? Goes back to just like shoving his like 8-inch tongue down this woman's mouth, like, and just like,
and we get tits. It's so crazy. Like the animation's so crazy here. It's so like.
How come in 90s anime all the girls have little nipples? Like, do you remember Berserk? It's like,
oh, I know you're
like a pen cap sized nip. You know what I mean? Like,
it's probably easier to draw less
yeah. I remember I thought that when we watched Berserk too. I was like,
that's weird.
You don't have to take a lot of time. Just put it there.
I need some areola on that tip.
No, I don't have time for that. Keep going.
So Jubei just kind of like sneaks up behind him and like threatens the guy. And Sai just kind of like in like a split second just lifts his giant sword up and just swings at his hat, and it like cuts the hat like down the middle. Like, if he had been like a quarter of a second slower, he totally would have just sliced his head off, right?
Yes, sir.
And the part that I think is CGI is there's like a good like 5 seconds where Sai's like spinning the giant sword above his head, and it doesn't look natural.
Oh, okay.
But like something about like the filtering or the background, like it doesn't pop like 90s CGI would, but it also doesn't look like it's hand drawn.
Maybe they're just that
yeah, and actually that's funny that you notice that, because I also noticed that, because we're looking at this thing obviously spinning way faster than what he's saying it's moving.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's CGI or not, but they fucked up on the motion of the hand compared to like the churning of the sword, because the sword like obviously looks like it's not getting held.
Yeah.
Like it just look like him is just kind of like floating his hand around it.
Yeah, exactly. Because they couldn't animate. Well, I assume they also couldn't animate like the fingers around the sword if it's in motion.
Yeah, they probably would have been. That probably would have been way too hard.
But
at the time, I guess.
that's the wild part because like, what's her name? The girl.
Kagero.
Kugero like
Kagero.
she has like she has like a secret like blade like in her shoe because she's a fucking ninja. So she tries stabbing the guy and he turns his skin into rock and it just like breaks off and she's like, you can't kill me, I'm indestructible.
Oh, isn't that when he says that other corny ass fucking line? He's like, is the rest of you rock hard? Or no, he's like, not all of you can be rock hard like that.
Jubei's telling him that. Yeah.
It's like,
so he just throws like a needle in his eyes and it's a Superman effect, you know? Well, in Superman, like his eyes steal too, but like here it's like, oh my god, like you just fucking blasted my eye out, like I'm basically this indestructible rock man, and you found my one weakness, my eyeball.
And
they run outside.
Yeah, right. They get away.
And Sai's boss is there, who we saw like momentarily when like they were killing the 20 ninja family or whatever. And it's like this guy that fights with like a fish hook or something, or like a line, like a really thin string, like a fish hook,
like guns, like
guns. And he but he can answer the phone over it. And then he's always electrocuting people with it.
I think that's maybe how he answers the phone. It's because
they use it as those like those fucking cord phones they used to make like
exactly
with a string. But yeah, because we see the actual leader who is talking to this guy that uses that string, he has it across his mouth because he's hiding somewhere.
Yurimaru.
Yeah, Yurimaru. Is that who it is?
Oh, Yurimaru's the guy with the electric fish hook thing.
Yeah, and Genma is using the string to put it through his mouth while talking, and somehow Yurimaru can hear him.
Yeah,
and he even sounds like
So when Sai was gonna go kill Jubei and Kagero, like it's Yurimaru that stops him for some reason. He's like, "Don't forget about our real objective here." And I don't remember what the objective was that would have stopped it.
But I think that adds into Ninja Scrolls. What if that's like the code of honor? You know what I mean? So he was just like, "Hey, instead of wasting time here, do the ninja way." And fit your objective, you know what I mean? I'm just
not a stretch, a good stretch, but nah, man. Like the movie puts you in a lot of different plot lines that you think you're gonna keep following, but then by the time another plot line, you're like, wait, what happened to the other plot line?
And again, it's the 90s, so like it's strictly 90 minutes. Like it wasn't until like recently that we decided 2-hour films were cool because like it's just exactly what we're talking about. Like, it feels like it wanted to be a show the whole time. And that's what's so disappointing, that the show, like the series, basically sounds like it sucks and it's absolutely terrible. Because, like, directly from here, Jubei just kind of lets Kagero fuck off.
Yeah.
She goes reports to her boss, the boss of the Sakakaki family.
And then this dude is this dude is fucking his maid. I don't think that was his wife at all.
It was a concubine.
Yeah, a concubine.
Like, yeah, especially in feudal Japan, they would have the Lord was expected to have concubine, because if your wife had an issue with like having kids, you needed a family heir, because it's again that feudal politics where it's like your brother could just murk your one child if he wanted to. To take over the family throne, or just like if you give birth to one sickly kid, you could just accidentally poison him and just be like, "Oh no, now I'm the boss of the Sakakiki family."
How easy it was back then, you know?
There's literally something about that, and I can't remember what it was. It might have been. It's kind of what's going on in the Wano arc of like One Piece, but there's also like a whole anime I was watching. No, you know what it is?
Ghost of Tsushima.
It's no, I never played Ghost of Tsushima.
It is really fun.
But there was a zombie original show on Netflix produced in Korea, which had kind of like the same plotline to it. And I can't even remember what it was. It was like, I'll think of it later. If you know,
is it Kingdom or something like that?
Yes, it might be Kingdom. I think it's Kingdom.
I know what you're talking about.
If you know what Kingdom on Netflix is, please tweet at us at Between Nerds or email us
we can know.
Your questions, comments, or concerns about Kingdom, the Netflix anime series, at betweennerdspodcast@gmail.com. But so then, Boss Sakaki is fucking his bitch and is just kind of like, get out of here. If all 20 of them died, that they were useless anyways.
Yeah, go investigate and report back whenever you can.
Just knowing that she's gonna die.
Yeah, while fucking this concubine.
Yeah.
And she leaves, and Jubei now it's involved again with another fight, right?
He's just walking, doing his Ronin thing, minding his own fucking business.
What's happening?
He sees a horse running. He's walking alongside like a brick wall like a stone wall, and he sees a horse coming at him. Jubei just kind of stands out of the way, and he's like, "Huh, that horse doesn't have anybody on it," and he's freaking out. That's fucking weird.
Oh, the Sai comes back.
Yeah, so then Sai comes back, just like rips through the brick wall and just like shoves him in. Like honestly, from here on out, I'm like, this is where Jubei should have died. Like everything we've been told, Jubei, like every other point in the movie, Jubei's basically treated just like a regular human. But this point right here, he should have died like 5 times over because he gets pulled through a rock wall, and then like Sai's like grabbing Jubei by like the head, pins him up against like an old school like Japanese Buddhist like lamp thing, and is just fucking punching him so hard in the gut,
like 20 times.
It breaks the lamppost.
Like 20 times.
Hard.
Yeah.
Like this guy's doing the anime thing where he's coughing up blood, he's throwing up all this blood.
And the same stills, like him punching him and then like he coughing blood. Him punching him, blood. Punching him, blood.
And this is why it's like, he totally should have died here. Like if those punches were strong enough to break stone, there's no way his internal organs are just holding up.
Maybe that's how tough he is.
So then, but like this is where we get like the cool part about Jubei is that like he's got like a ninja trick when it comes to his sword, that he's got like again like an invisible little string, a little line like attached to it. So like when he gets knocked away, that line is still attached to like his arm or his sleeve or whatever, so you can just pull on it and his sword will come. So like he's able to like swing the blade back to him like a boomerang almost. And the blade like misses Sai, and he's like, ha ha ha, you can't cut me anyways. And Sai just kind of lets him like swing at him a couple times. He's like, you see what I mean? Like, I'm basically indestructible. And then like Sai starts noticing Jubei starts noticing that Sai's face is like breaking off a little bit.
And he's even confused. He's like, yo, bro, your skin is falling apart.
And he's like, no, it's not. I'm indestructible. And then he looks down. He's like, my fingers are cracking and chafing, and he does like the anime swordsman thing where he basically can do like an energy blast with a sword, like kind of like it's never and this is the only time it happens. Every other point in the movie it's like it's actual sword fighting.
I always thought it was because he had the wind blade, and maybe it was just like wind. Like
but that's never explained.
Yeah, I know.
It's never explained, and it never happens again.
CJ canon.
Yeah, that's like my head canon. I was like, I guess it's just wind.
He just does
it like you know how Toguro in Yu Yu Hakusho when he flicked his thumb and it was just like the air, like an air blade. That's how. To me, that's how I thought it was. Just like him swinging the blade so fucking hard that it was just like.
I wish it was explained.
But then again, an anime trope from the 90s.
Yeah. Well, yeah. One Piece has been making fun of that one fucking trope for like 30 fucking years. They like the second like most popular character literally just lives off of like old anime writing tropes when it comes to swordsmen.
Sword skills.
Yeah, exactly. So he honestly, his death is fucking wild because like once his skin starts cracking and Jubei is able to like start like breaking away at him, he cuts off his fingers like in one fucking like uppercut swing, and
he was doing the Thor hammer thing with his fucking big ass sword. So when he cut his hand, like the fucking thing just jabs him in the fucking.
So
head.
it boomerangs back, so it's coming back at him. And then Jubei gets out of the way, and it just fucking lodges itself halfway through his giant fucking skull. And, like, he starts, like, sliding down on, like, the 12-foot blade. And even then, he's trying to, like, shove the sword that's stuck into, like, his cranium into Jubei. And Jubei, like, barely is able to, like, deflect it and just move out of the way.
And, like, he hits the floor, and, like, he just, like, slides down the big-ass sword. Really great.
It's a crazy death scene.
Yeah.
That's
so that's what like I got really invested. I was like, so there's 8 demon things, right? Like, is this all? Yeah. Do I get 7 more death scenes like that?
Do you remember that? Like, what was it? It has to be like early 2000s, like 2005 maybe. Ninja Assassin. It was a crazy ass CGI movie.
I have no idea what that is. No.
I actually think I do remember that.
Explain it to me.
I watched it. I haven't watched it in forever, but
dude with the long hair, right?
Yes,
long black
yes,
hair.
and he's a ninja, and he's
yeah.
killing off like I think his own clan because his own clan like
betrayed him or some shit
like
yeah.
that. Yeah, and he just reminds me just like that movie.
You ever play the game Ninja Gaiden?
No, what is that?
It's like I think it's just like a clan about it's a story about this guy. I can't remember what his name is. I think he has like the same name as the guy that plays Scorpion, or something similar like that, whatever. But it's just like a game where it's just like you're just like this ninja running around slicing motherfuckers up, but in a gruesome ass way. And it made me think of like this movie, how people die and shit. Like how people just get cut in half all easily and shit.
There's 3 of them, right?
Well, I think there's like 3, and then there's like a couple more, but like side games. But yeah. But that game is tight. It made me think of this film because just like the way people die and fucking blood all spurting all over the place. Yes, 2009. That is the movie. Yes, that's the movie.
Oh, I've seen that. That was on Netflix at one point, and yes, I remember like
it still is.
I remember. Is it? Because I remember we're talking about Ninja Assassin, right?
Yes.
And I remember like anime Twitter being like, if there's any like Korean or like Japanese films you have to see, it's like what is it? Old Man and Ninja Assassin. No. Like they're 2 separate films. It's not called Old Man. It's that film with like it's that Korean film with that famous scene that the Netflix Daredevil series modeled off of when they did the stairwell fighting scene.
Old Boy.
Old Boy. Thank you. I called it Old Man.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Old Boy. So watch Old Boy. Watch Ninja Assassin because I don't know. They're supposed to be amazing films, and I think it's dope that like Korean films are all of a sudden like under contention for like film of the year and stuff. Because I remember. When the director of what's that horror movie that won Best Film like 2 years ago? Parasite. When Parasite won Best Film, like the director hates American culture.
Best foreign film
and Best Film.
Oh, and Best Film.
It won Best Film. That was like the big like mind blowing like a foreign film is especially Korean film is.
Isn't that when he gave
film.
His subtitle speech where he's just like if people can like.
Oh,
the 1-inch barrier of the subtitle, they'll like expand their mind.
And like people are always like, "Are you gonna do other movies, other things? Like, are you gonna make Korean film great?" He was like, "There's already all these amazing movies that nobody fucking watches."
That he has also like directed as well. He has other movies that are pretty good. Taxi's pretty good.
He's used like the same actors in a lot of them too.
Snowpiercer, you ever see that movie?
Mm-mm.
Oh, dude, so good.
Somebody was trying to talk to me.
That's that Korean one?
That he's the director of Parasite. He made Snowpiercer, the movie. Awesome.
I didn't know that.
Amazing.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
that Korean dude?
Yeah. The director of Parasite
really?
made the movie Snowpiercer. Dude.
I didn't know that at all.
I did not know that at all. I don't really like Snowpiercer, by the way.
I've never seen.
Not the show, the movie.
The movie.
Yeah.
Chris Evans, right? Is Chris Evans?
Yes, Chris Evans.
Yes.
What?
Yeah, I believe
he got an American actor like Chris Evans. Like he got Captain America.
I could be wrong.
To be in Snowpiercer,
right? I believe so. At least that's what somebody could have told me.
Anyways. So, what are we talking about plot-wise? So, Jubei kills Tasai.
We're talking about Korean movies.
Jubei kills Tasai, right? And here's the thing I don't like, because this shit doesn't even make sense, is that, like, one of the other ninjas that are part of, like, the 8 demons of Kuba Shinabi, whatever the fuck we're calling them, she has the sense that when she finds Tasai's, like, dead body, to lift up his palm to try to see what the guy's face looked like. And, like, so she lifts up his palm, and, like, Jubei's face is, like, imprinted in the dirt. And I'm like, no fucking way!
Yeah.
And so, like, he would have had to, like, broken his face because, like, the very next scene is, like, is Jubei, like, in a bath. Like, you know, his face doesn't look completely disformed. Like, he's pulling out teeth and stuff. But he's not.
That scene was crazy.
But he's not completely deformed, so it's not. How would the imprint would have been in this guy's hand?
Yeah.
Damn.
Bong Joon-ho.
Yes, he did direct this movie.
I told you.
Honestly, Aldo thought Bong Joon-ho couldn't direct a bunch of Americans. Aldo's got issues.
No, I'm just saying. I just didn't know it was his.
Yeah, you couldn't tell. God, Aldo.
Yeah.
No, it was a great film when I first saw it. I was like, yo, this is crazy.
And that guy's an Academy Award winner.
Yes. Korean films are insanely good. You're the best zombie movie film I've ever seen in my life. Is a Korean film.
Train to Busan?
Train to Busan, exactly.
I've never seen Train to Busan.
Isn't
that Bong Joon-ho too?
Yes.
I think so.
That was Bong Joon-ho too.
Yeah, it is.
Or it at least has the dad from like the Parasite movie in it.
Yes. Oh, dude, he's an amazing actor.
Have you ever seen what's it called? I almost said Assassination Classroom, but it's like It's like Squid Games before Squid Games. It's like a show from the 90s produced in Japan about a bunch of like high school kids being thrown on an island.
Battle Royale.
Battle Royale!
Yes.
In Battle Royale, it's just all these fucking kids being thrown on this island, being given like deadly weapons like nunchucks and like...
Apparently that movie was fucking banned like for a while, dude.
It's violent.
Yeah,
it's violent as
really
fuck.
bad.
And like everyone's supposed to be like 14 in this.
Yeah, it's like,
it's fucking crazy. So you need to watch Battle Royale. You know what I think it is? I think it's the gore that has us like caught in like this loop of trying to talk about like these like independent like Korean and Japanese films, because like that's how Ninja Scroll comes off. It comes off like somebody's like pet piece. You know what I mean? That they had to beg to create. Which isn't a bad thing. Like, I'm glad this came out, but I can totally see like why it wasn't marketed properly, like why the director was given so much free reign that it's basically unmarketable, especially in the fucking 90s.
It's like, come watch this racing with us.
Yeah, and like, and which is wild that it's so popular in the U.S. because like, think of American culture in the 90s and how more conservative everyone is, even then. Like, even Cowboy Bebop is seen as, like, raunchy television for the 90s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which, you watch that now and it's like,
really?
For what?
Yeah.
Because it's like, he smokes a cigarette, he drinks, and...
You see your boobs jiggle a little bit?
Yeah,
It's like...
Honestly, we were supposed to record today with the owner of TCG Battleground, Jacob Banuelos, but he had to reschedule. I didn't even ask too many questions. I don't know. But, the thing about the movie, the anime we were watching, because apparently it's his favorite, is called Plastic Memories, right? It's this anime that had like a really like popular light volume apparently, but was like canceled after one season. And it was never even dubbed. Like, that's how unpopular it was. It was never even like picked up for a dub. And I remember bitching to Aldo the week we were watching Demon Slayer and the week we were watching My Hero Academia. I'm just like, I need fan service. This highbrow shit's whack. I'm bored. And then like I'm watching Plastic Memories. Like every other bitch has like there's a bunch of like girl characters, all with really bright character models that remind me of like Darling in the Franxx. And they're all given, they all have like an ass shot, like at one point. Like it'll just be like them speaking or doing something. Oh, I gotta lean over this desk. Look at me wearing my work skirt. It's just about a dude that's falling in love with a robot girl, but the robot is a lolly because anime.
Of course.
So it's like, why? Like, why? It's the plot to Detroit Become Human, the PS4 game.
That's that one about like the androids and shit, right?
Exactly.
Become, like,
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Because in Detroit Become Human, I remember one of the robots had like a male caretaker, or a male that he caretaked for, like an old man artist, and he basically treated him like a house husband, like a lover almost. And that's how like Plastic Memories feels. It's so I go from like bitching about not getting any fan service or like watching all this highbrow stuff to I get something so raunchy. It's like, I changed my mind.
It's like, well, I didn't think I wanted all
Send
this.
me back to High Class Showdown. Like, I'll go back. I promise.
And I'm sure the sub doesn't sound that bad. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But even the pacing, and then now at this point, like the dub is making it hard to watch. But you're there. You're still watching. Mm-hmm. You're still following Jubei, and he's like out of spring or something. He's just washing his.
That's what I'm saying. He's in the bath, and then he immediately gets jumped by the next assassin, who was the
snake lady.
Yeah. Then, she was the one that had lifted up to Sai's like hand to see like his face imprint, so that she could know what he looks like. And she just picked the right fucking bath that he was at, and so like. And again, none of these powers are ever explained. Like, it's just shit happening.
Yeah.
So, like, she just, like, appears in the bath. He's just like, hey, stranger, what are you doing in the bath? And he immediately grabs his sword, and she just, like, does, I don't know.
She has a snake tattoo.
A giant, like, but the...
Traditional, like...
Yeah, the traditional, but Yakuza-looking tattoo.
Yeah.
With, like, koi fish-looking snakes and stuff.
Yeah.
And then, what's the jutsu called in Naruto, where it's, like, a mental jutsu?
Oh, dude,
it's honestly, not a genjutsu. It's not a whatever. So she fucking mind fucks this guy into like seeing imaginary snakes. Ooh, and he's all tripping out, and he thinks he's like molding into the bath because he's having a fucking acid trip. And then like this old man character I don't even remember his name. Just like that we met like
Daquan.
right after
Daquan, yeah. My boy.
So old man Daquan, who's like a Buddhist monk, who's also a ninja.
Kind of a dick.
He's a complete asshole. Like after
he's your typical old man, dude. Of course he's an asshole. Every old man.
It's like what's his name? The old guy from Dragon Ball.
More of a dick.
But it's the exact same character model.
Yeah.
Like if you want to imagine what this guy looks like, just imagine Master Roshi.
Roshi, yeah, but without the turtle armor, the shell on his back.
Yeah.
But he has this giant like Buddhist monk hat thing.
Yes.
And immediately after Jubei killed Tasai, he comes through and he's just like, you know you really didn't beat him, right? And Jubei's just like, what do you mean? I just sliced the guy.
Yeah.
And Tasai's like, well, that ninja that he was trying to rape the girl, she's a poison expert. So she was actually breaking down his armor because like when this fool's all like licking titties and like trying to eat her out and all this stuff,
yeah.
he's just like poisoning himself because like she's like ingested so much poison that she's immune to poison.
No, I think it's like a curse, bro.
She has like the most convenient plot armor, I think, because it's like
they didn't. She said, "I am immune to poison because I've ingested so much poison."
She is immune to poison. But she's poisonous to the touch, so you can't.
Right, because she's like ingested so much poison. She has like a very mild, like mildly poisoning herself, like always. Which in and of itself, like just doesn't make sense.
It's like okay for the sake of the plot. Yeah. 90s anime. Right?
So that's what really killed that guy. Was like his armor was being broken down from being a giant rock monster.
Poisoned by the pussy.
Yeah, for real.
Poisoned by the pussy. That's right.
By pussy.
That's what he gets trying to shove this woman's whole torso in his mouth. So that old man is introduced right there, and then he comes back like just to like throw a ninja star like in Jubei's shoulder to wake him up out of the trance. And that's when Jubei's like, oh my god, there's actual snakes coming out. And just like slices her and tries to get the ninja bitch. But she sheds her skin and just disappears. Like we don't even see her like actual disappear. She just like is just not in the skin 1 second.
That makes me think of Orochimaru, since you were talking about Naruto.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm gonna shed my skin, just bounce. Like, what? How the fuck did you do that?
Exactly. She just like appears back at her boss's headquarters, the guy with the lightning, Yurimaru. She's just like, hey Yurimaru, I couldn't kill the guy. My bad. Like I tried my best, bro.
He's like, don't be stupid, bitch. Go back.
He almost kills her. Yeah, he just like sticks his line around her and starts shocking her. He's just like, I should murder you right now for fucking up. So, that's what also happens right then is, Daquan, I guess it's Daquan. Daquan. So it's Dakuan, which is Daquan, right? Daquan. So anyways, Daquan it had poisoned the ninja star that he threw at Jinbei. So now Jinbei's all coughing up blood, Jubei, and he's like, what's going on? What's going on? And he's just like, yeah, I poisoned you to make you work for me. I'll give you 100 gold coins at the end, I promise. And an antidote, I promise. But first you have to help me overthrow the Shadow Shogunate.
And the dialogue here is fucking horrendous. It's just like the emotion on Daquan doesn't change at all while he's telling this. He doesn't even slow down, so he's just like, hey, would you help me go defeat the Dark Shonen? And then he's like, no. It's like, well, I poisoned you. It's like, oh, no. And then do this for me and I'll give you 100 pieces of gold. And this, and it's just so...
We should be
I think this is a convenient way to... Like the way Aldo was saying, since like the pacing is going so fast, I think this is a convenient way to
trying to tie it all together.
Well, not tie it together, but I think this is a convenient way for them to explain that, all right, the rest of the movie is going to go by so fucking fast that you're going to be like, well, fuck the pacing.
But see, I'm sure in the sub, it's something much shorter. But because of how fucking audio, how they wanted to fit, they went around 2 points. They made this, like, they should have just gone with, I poisoned you, just work with me, you know? Mm-hmm. Instead, they were like, hey, can you please help me do this? And then, no, oh, well, I poisoned you. Can you help me do this?
Honestly, I can't... Oh, I've always assumed that that's because Japanese has more syllables than English. Mm-hmm. And so, like, older animes would really, like, animate, like, all of the vocal... It's like how you can download the South Park character animation, and you can set their voices and their voice movements to because in South Park, when the characters are speaking, they only have like 4 different mouths that like all the characters share, right? and that's because it's like ease of convenience. Like the human mind, if you're animating it so quickly, we can't even like pick it apart. Oh, they use the P animation to make the A sound. Yeah.
Unless you really stare at that shit.
But like in these old like Japanese anime, they weren't even considering the dub, so they would just like really, really like animate the lips to fit the Japanese pronunciation. So then when it came to dubbing it in English, it's like, we just don't have the words to say it like that, so we just have to fill it with nonsense.
Yes, and that nonsense, it's getting noticeable at this point. It's getting very noticeable.
But now that the plot moves along like fast, because he's like, well, now you're fucking poisoned.
It's like a breakneck speed.
Yeah,
like
he's
after
now you're poisoned. Now you need this antidote, bro.
After 30 minutes, it's like we're going.
Yeah,
we're going.
Doesn't he even stick the fucking the Quan with the fucking star? He's like, "Ha! Now you're fucking poisoned too."
Oh yeah, he grabs the ninja star from him and like sticks the Quan with it. He's just like, "You fool! You don't think that this was the fake ninja star that I was holding in my hand, and then I would let you stick me with my own ninja star that was poisoned? Ha 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 ha! You still have to fight with me for the 100 gold pieces and the antidote. Ha ha! I'm so smart, I'm the Quan."
Yeah, but now they gotta overthrow this shadow ninja clan that's gonna try to overtake this.
Full of demons. Just all demons.
They're trying to just take
But they're not actual demons. They're all people. Because the plot is, Daquan's... So Daquan and Jubei are in a boat, and Jubei's like kind of like giving him the lowdown. He's like, all right, so 5 years ago, some super crazy, badass Ronin ninja thing killed a small lord's... one of the smaller family's lords, because he had secretly been mining gold out of a gold mine that the actual like Japanese government didn't know he had. So he had like illegally produced money. And when they found that out, they had him killed. But then all that gold that he had mined was stolen from him and is on a ship somewhere. So now the current Shadow Shogunate is trying to find that gold in that village that we saw poisoned earlier at the very beginning of the movie, extract it from that village, and like transport it back to where the Shadow Shogunate's like...
I believe because that family is the only one that knows how to like mine that gold, right? Something like that.
They were the only ones that knew the mine existed.
Yeah, so that's why they eliminate them.
Yeah, so... But the thing about that village is that village had secretly been hiding the gold for forever. Even the villagers didn't even know it was there. Mm-hmm. So that's why they made the pandemic, I think they called it an endemic in the dub.
Not a pandemic.
Oh, I heard endemic. I was like, that's wrong. Because endemic means you're living with a disease, like the flu or something, right? But, so that's why they made it look like a pandemic at this village, so that like, the Shadow Shogunate's like people could just like sneak in, steal all the hidden gold, and just like sneak the fuck back out. Because like the actual government wouldn't want to go to that town if it's full of disease, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's actually fucking
That's
smart.
kind of a good plan. Really that's smart, not actually. This is like my favorite part. This is like some Sopranos like multi-level like
that goes to show like how things were done in feudal Japan, because not much is known. For example, like a lot, like since like most ninjas like commit seppuku, and it's like, well, for your honor, I'm gonna fucking kill myself so I don't dishonor my family and shit. So it's like a lot of secrets weren't passed. So like a lot of people don't know what went on, but it's like that's I don't know, man. I think that's crazy to me. Shit like that.
It's insane. So that's like the plot to the movie. We're like 40 minutes in. We just got the plot.
Right. We're trying to. Now we figured out.
Right. We're trying to get the gold. Oh, okay. So what was up with that other family and that other ninja bitch? Like, why were they involved? Mm-hmm. So they're reintroduced. So
now we have everything tied together.
So Kagero is still listening to her bum ass like head of the family being like, go investigate it or whatever. And Yurimaru is like annoyed at this point. He's talking to his boss Genma. He's like, "What do we do?" And Genma's just like, "Just throw all the demons at him. Mm-hmm. Just like we don't have time to deal with this. Just fucking kill him." Especially because when Jubei's in the boat listening to the story from Yakuwan, he hears the name Genma, or I think Dakuan says Hirimaru. He's like, you mean Genma Hirimaru? And Jubei's like, oh, don't worry, I killed him.
Yeah.
And Dakuan's like, well,
he
he's
came back,
totally
yeah.
back.
Yeah,
So
he
like,
came back somehow.
he's like 1,000% alive. And this is where like, Jubei is able to figure out that Dakuan is like he's a spy for the Japanese government.
Like
for
an
like the
informant,
actual
yeah.
shogun, yeah. So he's just trying to like sabotage from the inside. Like he's the fucking CIA, you know what I mean? Just like infiltrating other governments and like trying to...
Which I
They
think
mean cocaine in the inner cities?
Which I think this also explains why Daquan is like on his own. For example, since like they're all about like the fucking ninja code and honor and shit like that. Like obviously an assassin or a spy is like they're like, yo, that's pretty whack. So they're like, we don't like that shit. So the fact that he was an informant, they're probably, like, I don't like you, motherfucker. So maybe that's why it explains why he's all on his own and he's like, yo, I need you to help me. You're my last hope.
Don't
Obi-Wan,
worry.
dude, that also ties to Star Wars. Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my last hope.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Because that's why Obi-Wan is living by himself at the beginning of A New Hope. Because he couldn't reveal himself as being a Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Because all the Jedi were persecuted after Order 66.
Exactly. So if this guy if Daquan would have revealed he was an informant, they would have been like, off with your head, motherfucker. But he's like, yo, I found the chosen one. Star Wars reference.
Yeah.
And now I need your help.
Well, Dakuan gets jumped pretty quickly.
Yeah,
like right after the
yeah.
So Yurimaru, like, so we've been meeting like the demons one at a time, right? All of a sudden, Yakuan's like, fuck it. I mean not Yakuan. Yurimaru's like, fuck it, we're gonna send 3 at once. So they send like a shadow guy named Shijijima. They send the snake girl back out there after she failed because she's got to prove herself. And then they send like somebody that we think is a dude at first, wearing like a giant suit of armor, and again the giant straw hat thing that doesn't even show their face, which ends up being a girl, but her power is fucking crazy too. So then we're dealing with like 3 fights at one time, where it's just like Daquan pisses off Yubei. And Yubei's like, you know what? Fuck you. I don't even need your antidote. Go fuck off. So then that's when...
He sprints ahead.
Yeah, so that's when it was the mist.
Oh, true.
They land on like a misty shore, so they get split up. That's when the Shijima, he literally like is able to pop out of shadows. So like, Dakuan like stumbles down a hill, and then there's like a shadow creeping from like a shrine in the background, right? But then out of this fucking shadow comes Shijima. And he's crazy looking because he's actually like shrouded in ninja veil. Mm-hmm. And he's got like a robot fucking claw arm. Like the claw arm from like Legend of Zelda.
He reminds me of Nightcrawler.
This is like what?
Yeah.
This is like what, 40, 50 minutes into the movie, and we finally have our first actual ninja in the
Somebody that reminds us of like a traditional ninja.
Like a legitimate
like
ninja.
creeping out of the shadows and shit. And this fool just gets his ass handed to him like all the time. And he's like supposed to be like one of the most badass characters.
And then fucking 5 seconds after that, Daquan, like evading his Shijima's attacks, he turns into a fucking like tree branch.
Never explained.
Never explained.
Yeah. That was weird. Yeah, when I saw it, I was like, okay. I had to just accept it. That's anime. You know what I mean?
So the scene is like Shijima like launches his fucking claw on a hook thing. It bolts out, and then we think it pierces Daquan's his chest because it's just like the clothing. So that means like Daquan like just like sprinted out of there really quickly, like ninja style, like within an instant he was just gone, and he's just like turned into like this green dead tree looking thing hanging off from the tree right above where he was.
Correct.
And Shijima, because he's a ninja, I guess, like is talking to himself. And it's just kind of like, where'd he go? He had a very interesting power. That one somebody look out for.
Inner dialogue.
He said it out loud though, because
I think he did say
and you know that because Dakuan even says like, I think your power is very interesting also. As a tree man saying that, and you're just like, what the fuck? And at that same instance, Jubei finds like a giant like Buddhist temple. And in it is just like this like Buddhist monk lady just praying, just saying the chant. And she's like, and he does the thing he did with Tasai where he just kind of like,
hey, yo, where do I go?
Ninjas in being like, hey, have you seen a lonely Buddhist monk walking around, and the priest lady is just kind of like, oh, don't worry, I'm gonna kill him tonight. He's trying to go into the village.
You're gonna die too. You're not gonna.
She was
go
rapping
anywhere.
some bars, bro.
And it was the snake girl. It ended up being the snake girl. So she just kind of like pins him down in another room and just like bathes him in fucking black vipers. So he's freaking out.
And she's naked for some reason.
Because
her clothes were snakes or something. Yeah. I don't know.
They got too tired to animate clothing, so
they just drew in butt cheeks, like. Yeah. So she's like butt ass naked, just talking to the guy while he's like covered in black vipers, trying not to move. And she's like, "Tell me everything. Tell me who you're working for." He's just like, "Oh, I don't know. It's that one old guy I was asking for. It's me and that bitch behind you." And then behind him is Kagero.
Kagero.
It's the ninja girl from the beginning, and just kind of like has the sword, her little ninja blade,
like her kunai blade.
And then out of fucking nowhere, we get a snake coming out of her fucking vagina.
Yeah,
bro. That was wild.
Like, she's like, "Are you sure that these are all the snakes?"
She's like, "Release all the snakes."
Out slippers a snake from her foot.
And they animated as if the snake was somewhere, moist.
Right.
It's just weird, bro. It's,
deep in the canals, if you know what we're saying,
and I don't know, man. It
bites her. It bites Kagero.
It's just like,
ha! You can't kill me now.
Yeah.
And then Kagero still has the knife to her, and she's like, "Make the snakes go away. Get Jubei out of there." So like, she calls out the snakes. She kind of just lets the snake ninja lady go, and Jubei and Kagero are trying to find the old man, right? So they're trying to find Dakuan. So they're running, and Kagero's like hiding behind the tree, and she like knees Jubei in the face because Jubei was trying to like suck her leg because he was like, "I gotta get the poison out of there. And she's like, "You idiot! Don't you know that I'm immune to all poisons because I basically lathered myself in poison?" So then that's where we get like the cheat codes when it comes to Kagero, like what CJ was describing. Like, it's just so convenient. Like that amongst ninjas, like people that fight like underhandedly with poisons and stuff, that this girl's just like immune to all poisons.
Reminds me of Luffy. At this point, it's just like, bro, he's got so much poison in him.
He's just got so much plot armor on him.
Yeah, he's just like, fuck it. Whatever.
Like Kagero's got all the plot armor around her. Like nothing could really happen to her.
She's like,
until it does
that
happen
little
to
snake
her.
bite. She's like, that little snake bite. That was nothing, bro. I handle that shit like every day.
And I think the snake girl even said, like, "This is my most venomous snake" or something.
Yeah. It's weird because when she says that, she immediately goes into like, "Oh, my debt has been paid because you saved my life. I saved your life. Peace out." And you think for a second that she might like piss off, but like Jubei doesn't let her, and he follows her around, and then like she is still with him.
Yeah, so like the whole movie takes place over like 48 hours, right? Mm-hmm. And then like halfway through Act 3, it decides that it wants to be a love story between like Jubei and Kagero.
Yeah.
And Kagero's like, the way they never give her age, but like I always assume she's younger for some reason.
Okay, but I mean, come on. You guys are having this life or death situation. It's you and the only girl around. Come on, dog. You're gonna want to.
You don't have to fall in love with the only girl that gives you attention, CJ. I don't know what to tell you, but like you do not have to. Like I promise.
I'm not saying fall in love, but he was trying to get
he was, which that's what I'm telling you. It didn't have to be that way. It's like that meme, nerds. Like when a girl's nice to you, you don't have to fall in love with her. It's all right. Like people can be nice to you without you expecting something else in return. It's okay. So, and that reminds me of the beginning of the movie when she's originally introduced. She's introduced as the poison master for that family. So, like, her original job, not only with the ninjas, but for the leader of that family, was she tasted all his foods to taste for poison. Mm-hmm. Because she's a poison master, and she's immune to it anyways. Yeah.
Convenient.
I'm just saying it was written into the beginning of the movie. That's all I'm saying. But fuck. So then they're trying to make it out of the Misty Island or whatever, right? And then they're kind of like, how did they fall down the mountain? They randomly start like falling down the mountain or like get chased off a hill.
You're right.
And I can't even remember why that happened.
Well, doesn't that snake lady get fucking choked out by the fish hook guy?
Yeah, so she goes back to Yukimaru, right? And is like, I failed, so he kills her on the spot. So then...
Well, she's about to squeal, too. Because they're like, say what you know, bitch. And he's like, oh, but before you do that, I'm going to kill your ass.
Because she had a secret, like, line connected her from Yukimaru. So, like, he killed her from a distance.
Convenient.
So then, that giant armored character that we saw, who ends up being a girl, she, like, kind of pins them on the mountain. And that's when she throws out a zombie. Like, the leader of the 20 ninjas that died at the very beginning of the movie, the guy that got both his arms ripped off. He's reintroduced. He's alive, kind of, as a zombie. And he's just armless, gonna be, like, walked off this mountain, off this hill, off a cliffside. And, Kageto's, like, in love with the guy, kind of. He's just like, stop! You don't have to do this. And that's when the giant armored character, her name's Zakuro, she ignites his body. So she has the power to animate dead corpses and then...
turn them into bombs.
And then turn them into bombs.
Ignite them, yeah.
So it's just like...
That's fucked up.
It's super fucked up because she just like tortured Kageto.
That is fucked up.
And that's why they start, like, falling off the mountain, because the blast, like, destroys, like, the cliff face, and they start falling down.
Oh, that's right.
And then Kageto's like, what are you doing, you fool? Because Jubei obviously jumps, like, after her, like, to save her. And, like, he clips his sword into, like, a branch.
Because it has, like, the fish line on it.
Because it has a fish line on it. He fucking Gwen Stacy's the fuck out of her, but saves her.
Saves her.
And then she's like, what are you doing, stupid? What are you risking your life for me? I had just paid you, blah, blah, blah. And then now she thinks she owes him something now. You know?
Right.
Well, I mean, shit, if anybody saved my life, don't you think you would?
Yeah, but she's so, like, tsundere about it.
Okay, I get you.
Yeah. I'm not supposed to shit on plastic memories. I'll do it next week. Okay. But so yeah, they're hanging off the cliff face, and like she's just like dead weight, right? Because one arm, like Jubei's left arm, is hanging onto the sword, which is hanging onto a branch, which is falling off the mountain, and she's just like dead weight on the other side, like not even trying to pull herself up. So then they half fall. It catches on something. And that's when that's when Kageto finally decides, oh, I guess I'll pull myself up. So they pull themselves up.
I guess so.
And another one of the demons was holding on to Jubei's sword the whole time. He's this blind swordsman named Mujiro. Mm-hmm. So then, we get a blind swordsman fight between Jubei and Jujiro.
And this is going back to back. Back to
back. They just introduced the bomb girl. We're immediately going to the blind swordsman.
Like I said before, man.
We just saw the snake girl.
He was like, yo, the pace is about to fucking kick up, bro.
And fucking Jubei and, what is it, Mujiro?
Mm-hmm.
Mujiro, they start running and doing the sprinting scene that I really like. It was really nice.
That was animated so good. I think that was...
Through that bamboo forest.
Yeah, right, which is like a typical thing. Like two swordsmen running into a bamboo forest together and like trying to like sneak up on each other, because that's Mujiro's whole thing is Jubei thinks he has the advantage, but as long as he's making sound, like Mujiro it's Daredevil, you know what I mean? Like he's always gonna be able to pick up on it, because Mujiro tells Jubei flat out, he's just like, You literally can't move without making sound. Like, I'm always going to know where you're at. Mm-hmm. Like, Jubei deserved to lose this fight, too, more than any of the other ones.
Even Tasai, when the stone man was pounding the shit out of his head.
Yeah, like, Jubei did not deserve to beat this guy.
And I believe he was about to, if it weren't for Kageto throwing a sword that made extra noise while he was attacking.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Because, At a certain point when they're running through the forest... Jubei is getting frustrated because he can't hit on him. Kageto like just starts running out and is making even more noise. So she's obviously like air quotes visible to Mujiro, so it doesn't even distract him. But she like throws the sword at a certain point, and that's when like Jubei moving in the direction, because the sword goes through a piece of bamboo, so it's sticking like horizontally straight out. With the blade heading like face out, and that's when Jubei is like making all this noise trying to distract him that just leads Mujiro straight into the sword. And it like cuts him in the gut or something like that. It was the gut, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Like in the stomach.
Yeah, well, I believe, yeah.
It's like the cheapest win. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
is it cheap though, bro? Because I mean,
he deserved to lose that.
He was kind.
He just outsmarted the blind man. That to me,
yeah.
To me, I thought that was
it's
just
like,
quick on his.
It's like that episode of Boondocks where Grandpa spends the whole episode training to beat up a blind guy.
Oh, that's right.
And beats the shit out of him. It's just like, dude, why did you do that? He was blind. He was just some blind asshole, you fucking dick.
Yeah. And he stabbed him very cheaply.
Yeah.
Hey, but whatever it takes to win.
There's no honor there.
Whatever it takes.
So then, I think they start sending out just like the last of the assassins. Because they send out a hermit-looking guy that has hornets living inside of his back.
Oh man,
like it's super crazy because like just a gang of hornets. Just the gang, like our main three, make it to the village where the gold's being hidden. They see the ship that's stuck on the shore, and they're just like, okay, there it is. And then out of nowhere, a giant colony of like hornets comes out. Like if you've seen those videos like on Reddit or TikTok. Of like the Japanese hornets just like destroying a beehive, it's those big ass hornets. Like that's supposed to be what's chasing them.
That's just terrifying,
bro.
That's a lot.
I hate insects as it is, but seeing like a swarm of anything,
a hornet like the size of my hand, like coming at me, and there's like 1,000 of them. Fuck that.
Yeah, fuck that. Fuck that.
And again, the fucking dialogue here with the Quan. He's like, everybody save yourselves, and they fucking start jetting. And here we get introduced to another power that doesn't get flushed out. But Kagero is like flower lady now.
They explain it as she's just
so
kind of
poisonous. She's sweating into the air.
She just stands there and she's like, "Don't worry, I can stop them for a select amount of time." And then she just lets like flower petals like fly out of like her toga and
her sleeves, and
I tell you guys.
And the Quan like explains it as that she's poisoned the pollen inside of the petals. So whenever the bees get near the pollen, they just start passing out.
Yeah.
Which, why would she have prepped like that? Like, in what world is she like, I might need poison-laced pollen inside of rose petals?
I need 2 pounds of rose petals with me at all times.
She's like,
exactly, that never makes sense.
Yeah.
I might need to like kill a whole swarm of hornets. Yeah, hornets one of these days, and I need to be prepared. Hey, but that's deep thinking. That's one step ahead all time.
It gives Jubei a time limit.
Yeah, and then Jubei is like, oh, I see you, bastard. He's hiding behind a rock, like, right next to him. Like, like 5 meters away. And, like, he's like, come back here, you bastards. And they do the whole fucking ninja.
Like, into the doors.
Ninja
teleporting. They're moving so fast, they're teleporting.
Yeah, they're jumping away from each other. And this guy is very creepy because he meets him, like, at a water mill or, like, a windmill or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, I didn't bring you here because I was running away. This is the plan, part of the plan all along. And
he takes off like his cloak, and he has this giant hunched back, right? Like, I don't know, this back must have like a 2-foot diameter. You know what I mean? Like, this thing's huge. And it has these creepy, like, black holes in it. Like, it looks like a wasp's nest. This guy essentially has a hornet's nest living inside of his giant deformed back.
Like a hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah, but with hornets in it.
I'm telling you, dude, this shit triggered that phobia of mine with those little... Oh, bro, that shit was so disgusting.
Although, have you ever heard about this phobia? Apparently, there's a specific phobia about there being holes inside of humans.
No, not a phobia of hornets, motherfucker.
No, not of hornets.
It's a phobia of the little holes, like those little
like
tiny...
a lot of little holes, like, put together, bunched up.
Oh, it's called like trypophobia or something like that. Hold on,
like
let me. I have to look it up, bro. I'm telling you, it's disgusting and it exists.
I feel like you're making it up, but whatever. So
no, look, there it is, right there.
What's it called?
Trypophobia.
Trypophobia triggers, causes, treatment, and more. Healthcare.com. A strong fear or disgust of closely packed holes. The examples given are what looks like a wasp's nest and I guess like bacteria. Oh, that does look really gross.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
That does look really-
It's real.
So that's what this guy's back looks like. It's just like, look, Google tryptophobia right now while you're listening to this. Look up the first 2 images,
disgusting.
and that's what this dude's back looks like.
It's
just with
fucking-
hornets looking
Oh, that
inside it.
shit triggered it so bad, bro. I didn't even like that, but I had to skip for it. I was like, oh.
But it was pretty crazy though. I love the power over here right now. The powers are looking very crazy.
Mm-hmm.
If there were like something flushed out like One Piece, it would have made it better. But
It's just because the pacing's so batshit crazy. Like, and new powers introduced every 10 minutes, and you're just like,
and the powers and the people is almost like JoJo like. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody has his stand, everybody has his whatever Kirk, and here the fucking wasp guy like throws like a couple of few million wasp at him, and he's like running to a lake, and he's like, "Well,
Jubei's running to the lake."
Yeah, Jubei's running to the lake
because the bugs can't go into the lake
Correct.
water, obviously.
like fucking Looney Tune shit."
Yeah, exactly.
And then he goes into the lake. The hunchback guy,
I
like,
think that's real shit. I don't think bees can be in water, can they?
well, they
bugs
can't swim
can.
down.
Well, there you go. So that's real shit.
But he gets there, and now he's hovering like his million wasp like over this little pond lake thing.
And it looks dirty as fuck. Like,
It
the
does.
water's not
Oh,
even clear. Like, it's all,
gross.
like, green and brown. And
It's like Shrek Swamp. It's
yeah,
disgusting.
exactly. And this is where Jubei's just, like, swimming inside of.
Oh, it's gross.
And somehow, through all this dirty pond water, he's looking at the hive.
Jubei is.
Jubei is looking at the hive hunchback of fucking Japan,
Of Ninja Dem.
Of the
Yeah.
ninja bees, yeah.
and he's looking at him through like this murky water, and like just does the same thing, the wind slash up thing that he cuts so hard that even the force just fucking try to cut the branch that the guy was standing on.
Mm-hmm.
And he jumps in the water and he dies. Again, a very cool death because
This was my favorite death. This
he
was
should have died.
this was Jubei. Oh, Jubei almost died. So
Yeah.
like, not only is
But again, he won by mistake, by JoJo like write-offs.
exactly because not only does Ninja Guy like or Ninja Hornet Hunchback like have all the hornets, he actually is trained in ninja stuff. Like, he has like a spear with him.
Mm-hmm.
So when he's falling into the water, he's trying to spear Jubei, and Jubei's like dodging it or whatever. But him just being in the water, he's like suffocating the hornets living inside of his back. So the hornets start like eating from his insides, just trying to get out.
Get out.
So they just animate it as like a little puddle of blood starts appearing, and then like his head and his corpse just like
It looks like
float
a,
above
like
it.
a piranha attack.
Exactly,
Piranhas start
exactly.
Freaking out. Oh, dude, that shit was so cool.
It's disgusting. It's
It
so
is gross,
disgusting.
yeah.
And then at that same time, I think that's when Kagero gets like kidnapped for the second time.
Yes.
This time by Shijima, the shadow guy.
Another guy also trying to make a pass at her.
Well, it's not only that, because like I think Shijima at first tries jumping Dakuan again. And then at that very moment that Dakuan looks like he's about to get hurt, that's when Jubei shows up and like slices off one of Shijima's legs.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the funniest piece of animation because he just hobbles away and they just like let him
go in.
Yeah, he's just hobbling on one leg, just like he doesn't say anything because he's a ninja and just like hobbles away like, oh, next time.
I'll get you again.
This but the scratch.
Yeah. So I guess in the middle of the night, he just snatches up Kagero and then like just takes her to like an abandoned fucking house above the village where the ship full of gold is. Mm-hmm. And again, he's just trying. All these dudes trying to do mad foreplay on her too. Like they're trying to go to town on her. Like
It makes you wonder: is there like no women around where they're at or like I mean,
it's because I read the Game of Thrones books or the Song of Ice and Fire's books, and the way like sex is treated for like the lower class is like it's rare it ever happens. You know what I mean? Because
Okay,
you need to be able to like buy and support a woman, but like
And a child.
90% of men were too broken feudalism to like be able to support a family,
anything,
right?
yeah.
So you had to resort to prostitutes or just like taking advantage of like every opportunity you get. And that's how it feels here because it's literally just like, ooh, a woman, just snatch
It's
her.
now or never,
Just
yeah.
just snatch her and take her to the shed. Take her back to my cave.
Yeah, that's some caveman shit. Yeah.
Yeah, some caveman shit. Yeah, for real.
So I like with the piece of animation that's hella disturbing because like Tasai basically like almost got murked like before he really like had a chance to rape her. Like Shijima, like they animate like the moisture on his 2 fingertips, and like when Jubei shows up, like she's just like passed out on the floor. Like they animate for a full 5 minutes, like.
And then she's like, "Oh no!
Oh yeah,
she got fingered."
Yeah, her purity. She got fingered. Oh no!
Oh no! No virgin. She is no longer.
So Jubei shows up, just like, and she's just on the floor. Oh no, Jubei, I got fingered. I'm so hurt.
His fingers were so long.
And this fool's hiding in the shadow, like it's a shed, right? It's an abandoned shed, so it's full of shadows. It's the middle of the night. Terrifying, because this guy could be anywhere. Mm-hmm. You expect it to be like the power Lemillion has in My Hero Academia, where he just like bounce from place to place. Right. Like you expect him to start bouncing between shadows.
In the darkness here, they animated pretty cool because they animated red.
They changed it. That's what I was telling Karen when we were watching it. They whole ass changed the color scheme for this one scene. Mm-hmm. Like as soon as like he enters the house, Jubei enters the house, it goes from a lot of blues and blacks to a bunch of reds and like grays and stuff, and it's crazy all of a sudden.
It looks really good. It looks like some something you would see like on the Samurai Jack continuation on HBO.
Yeah,
it's really dope. Really dope. This was what it reminds me of. Actually,
I've seen this clip on
Samurai
YouTube
Jack.
A lot of his death, of Shijima's death, but I think he has the lamest death out of all of them because they don't even have a real fight.
Yeah.
So basically, like he's trying to pick up Kagado off the ground, and he just like tries to mechanical claw like. Jubei and like misses, and then Jubei just like not even looking at him, just like throws his ninja sword at the shadow, and it just like stabs the dude on the back, and he just like pops out of the shadow and just like lays dead. Like there was no fight, you know what I mean? Like bless you, Zelda. My dog just sneezed. Out of everybody, he has the lamest fight because, like, he never actually fights Jubei. Mm-hmm. Like, this guy got an arm cut off, a leg cut off, and then just dies, like, no look, sword in the back. Mm-hmm. And then, Dakuan, like, when Jubei was gonna go save Kagado, was like, the only way to cure your poison is to have sex with that ninja girl, but he says it like an old boomer creep, you know what I mean? Especially in the dub, it's like the ninja girl. You gotta stick it to that ninja girl. You know what I mean, boy? That's the only way to cure your poison.
And yeah, like the dialogue again, the fucking dub. It's weird because it's like you really think I have a serum or like anti-venom for you? No, it's like you gotta kill your venom with more venom or some shit like that.
Yeah. Literally,
you gotta
like
fight
you have to poison
fire,
yourself more by having sex with the poison ninja girl, and that's the only way to cure yourself. And like, so Kagado and Jubei, like they even say it, like they've been together for 48 hours. Kagado finds it out. Just like strips off her clothes right after she's rescued, and she's just like,
"Take me."
Dakuan told me, "Have sex with me now. I'm ready." And he's just like, he starts crying, bro. He's like, "No, I respect you so much. I cannot have sex with you right now because you don't seem comfortable."
Verge, bro.
It's admirable. Like I understand the writing they were going for. I get it. But I think the execution was poor because
he should have gotten the Desi, bro.
So she's clearly uncomfortable and almost in tears. He's literally in tears. And you're saying that they should have still hooked up.
I think you
you have sex while crying all the time. Is that how this goes for you? Does that sound good for you? So like he's just kind of like, no, I'm just gonna fight through it because like she doesn't seem like she wants to do it. You know what I mean? So he's not comfortable. So he's upset that she's upset that she doesn't really want him like that, which is the subtext I took. Which made it admirable. It was like, okay, I get it. Like you know what I mean? Like you're
just this is forced upon you.
Yeah. That's not like you're gonna like. She just got like. Almost raped once, mostly raped the second time. She's given consent the third time, but she's not emotionally available, which is kind of rape again.
It's so fucking ridiculous, dude. It rubbed me the same way, by the way.
It feels like she's saying consent while under intoxication.
Right, exactly. She's under duress.
Yes.
So it's not real consent.
So it's not real consent.
It's not real consent. And he was able to pinpoint that out. Our main man Jubei was like,
And he fucks off. He's
I'm
like,
literally throwing up blood from my poisoning, but I will not have sex with this
I will
woman.
not have sex, even though it will kill me.
And he
Even though it
lives,
will.
like he leaves, and then Kagero is like, "What are you doing, stupid? You need to do this."
Fuck me, you stupid bitch!
Fuck me right
Come
now.
back here and fuck me.
It's like, I know you don't really want this. I know you don't want this.
But then, like, again, we get like this shriney music, a little bit, like for 5 seconds on Kagero's like face, like acknowledging that this guy's a good guy.
It reminds me of Berserk, bro. It reminds me of all the music cues in Berserk. Because what they're also waiting on is when they first showed up to the village, Kagero sent a falcon a message to her feudal lord and just trying to request for backup. And even Dakuan was like, dude, like, he's a small lord of a small land. He's not going to get in the way of these big politics between like the shadow shogunate and the actual shogun. Like, he's too small scale for that. And she's still like, no, my master's going to do it. We'll just give him 2 or 3 hours. And she hears a bunch of horses like coming into the village, and she's like, he did it. Like, my master actually came through. And it turns out that it was a bunch of ninjas that worked for the main guy Genma, disguised as her clan. Mm-hmm. So they stab her. Like, Genma also has the power to not only like refuse his neck because he has this giant like scar over his neck where Jubei totally like sliced his head off. Like Dio, just like Dio. But he also has the power to like reshape his face, which is never explained, like just ninja stuff. Mm-hmm. So when he shapes his face as her master, as the leader of her clan, and stabs her, just literally stabs her in the back. Like, her head's turned around, and she's like, Jubei, look, everyone's here, and just like whole ass just stabs her. Like,
And Jubei, no.
And Jubei, I was gonna fuck her someday. Oh no.
I wasn't really sure about that one. My bad.
I was gonna have sex with her, I swear.
I was kidding when I said no.
She totally gave me consent. I'm just waiting for you to sober up.
Yeah.
But even like right before that, well, on the other side of that coin, Jubei like gets together with Aquan again. They find each other's paths, and they're like in the ceiling. And then the old man just turns at him, and like they put this like weird reaction animation on top of it. He's like, "So, did you fuck that one girl?
Did you do it?" And he's just like, "It's none of your business, old man." Oh, you totally did it, didn't you? Yeah. Just like when boomers at the bar are just talking about girls.
It reminds me of that one guy from Waterboy that's like, "You can do it." It reminds me of that one guy,
but like even creepier.
And yeah, she gets fucking stabbed in the back. Jubei has this whole like no kind of thing, and she goes down to her. No, they take her body, don't they?
Yeah, they like take her body back to the ship or whatever the fuck they do.
Yeah,
but she's dead.
Yeah, she's essentially dead. Like, the rest of the movie is just like, oh, is she gonna live? Is she gonna live? She just never just comes back. Like Jubei's basically gonna die a fucking virgin. Never, because like she does
kind of come back.
I can't even remember.
Well, I know she they end up, having a little smoochy smooch, and that's when
that's when he's cured of the poison.
Yeah, that's when he was just like, well, okay, instead of having sex, you could have just like macked up on it.
Yeah, so they like spend the night, and then that's like when they like kiss or whatever.
Yeah, as she's because Genma like just like stabs the shit out of her, doesn't he?
Yeah,
and so she's kaput. And so fucking that's when they end up kissing, and that's when he has like his ultimate like awakening.
Now I really gotta kill Genma's bitch ass.
He's like I really want to fucking defeat this.
And the scene of like Genma's men like packing the ship is crazy. Because like it's just like the ship lands, and within 5 seconds like a bunch of green ninjas just pop out and unload like tons and tons of gold like within 10 seconds. It's just like they feel like really overqualified because it's really these giant ass ninjas just like refilling the ship, but they immediately just that night go out into the ocean to try to transport the gold to the shogunate. And even Dakuan's like, yeah, we're too late. I guess the shadow shogunate's really gonna win here. Yeah, we kind of fucked up. Yeah. And but now like Jubei's got like a chip on his shoulder, right? Mm-hmm. So he rides a swimming horse, which I didn't even know horses could swim. He rides a swimming horse.
I think that's actually, yeah.
I never knew that. I never knew that. He rides a swimming horse into the ocean.
They doggy paddle, I believe, right? Something like that.
Yeah. That's what he was doing. He was just like barely like head above water, head above water, just doggy paddling his way. And then Jubei like sneaks onto the ship. And at that same time,
and like Yoshi, this horse was led in the water.
Yeah.
Oh no! So then Dakuan is also on the ship, and he's just trying to blow it up. Like he doesn't want he isn't even worried about the gold. He doesn't want the shadow government overthrowing the real shogunate with all this money.
Yeah.
So at that same time, the exploding girl, where I didn't even describe a whole scene. She killed the electric like fishing line guy. Mm-hmm. By like he was just talking too much shit to her, like about all her failed missions. So she just like blew him up with one of the villagers. Like one of the villagers came up and was like, "Oh hey, you Imaru," and just like she just blows it up.
Yeah, I think the dialogue was like, "Oh, he walked into one of the traps that I set." Oh,
and Genma doesn't even question it. He's just like, "Okay, whatever, get on the ship."
Yeah,
we're going. So Dakuan is having another fight with the blow up girl Zakuro. And Jubei is in the background, which is like the trump card here, because like she's trying to blow stuff up. Jubei is able to trick her into blowing up like herself, which probably has a lot of like the black powder on it, like the gunpowder, and it blows up enough of the ship that the whole ship catches fire. and the part like chemistry wise that really didn't make sense to me was the ship's on fire. Apparently, the fire on the ship was so hot that it started melting the gold?
Bro, fucking wood ignition or combustion fucking temperature is 300 Fahrenheit.
Okay. Well, I mean, you know gold has a low melting point.
It's high.
I know. No shit, it does.
1900, bro.
Yeah, that's so sick.
Right, so we're going for 300. I'm supposed to believe this fire is 1900 degrees. Hot enough to melt fucking gold to the point that we...
And now there's a river of fucking gold inside the ship.
Right, so we're getting the Genma and Jubei fight, and Genma's just talking shit, being like, "Ha! Look at my neck! Like I can just refuse myself."
Can I say one thing I like about Genma is he's like the embodiment of like selfishness. You know what I mean? Like he's basically like, "Yo, I betrayed my clan. I everybody that was close to me, all for the sake of money and power." And like, I think that's a pretty cool villain, like a Toguro type villain.
But like he's introduced so late. Like we hear about him for forever. And
we don't really know what he does either.
Right. We get like 10, 15 minutes of screen time because like even the people that helped him get the gold are like, "Okay, cool. So you're going to go give this to the Shadow Shogunate, right?" We thought he was the Shadow Shogun this whole time. And he's just like, "No, I'm keeping the gold for myself and it's staying within the family, which means that now I'm going to be the Shadow Shogunate because everyone's going to listen to me." And we were just like, I thought that was the plot for the past, 30 minutes. Like, I had no idea that he wasn't the Shadow Shogun. Mm-hmm. So then, he has the power to reanimate himself. And the scary part is, Jubei's doing that thing where he's getting his ass kicked. It's like the Tasai fight all over again.
His arm gets broken.
Right, he's getting his arm gets broken, he's getting his head shoved through, giant planks in the ship. Just all this stuff. And every time you think he has a 1-up on Genma just refuses his arm, refuses his leg,
himself.
I thought he had the power of immortality or something like that.
Yeah, he's described as a vampire or something. But that was the conversation that Jubei and Dakuan were having on the boat when they were on the way to the Mist Island, because Dakuan was trying to describe no, dude, he's basically immortal and can reanimate himself. And Jubei was the one being no man has the power to live forever. That doesn't exist. So then here, that's the terrifying part. Jubei's one thing he was certain of, that no man could be immortal. It's fake.
It was wrong, yeah.
And here, we are in the last 5 minutes of the movie here.
Yeah.
The fight ends up on what's his name? Genma. When Genma is he gets his arm cut off, and then we start seeing all the quote unquote melted gold on the bottom of the ship. He falls in it, or it rushes him like a wave, and he starts getting burnt in lava, or quote unquote.
It's he's basically being encased.
Right, it's like the Midas touch effect, where it's like
Yes.
somebody that wants to be rich so bad, and he's basically immortal. It's the D.L. Brando thing. It's just like,
Well,
how are you
that's-
going to kill somebody that can reanimate himself? You drown him, I guess, or you just like put him in. What's the thing in Star Wars? Like carbonite.
Carbonite, yeah.
Carbonite to the point that like he's just encased and can't get out.
Yep.
Can I just say shout out to Between Nerds for tying Midas touch? That's you're smart.
It's the Dio thing. He just like floats to the bottom of the ocean encased in gold, and that's how they defeat the villain we had for all of 5 minutes.
Yes, sir.
And that's
I got a lot of Terminator vibes from that.
Yes.
You know when he fell into that like lava pit and shit?
Yeah.
Terminator 2 vibes. I got a lot of vibes from that. I was like, bro, that's just falling into a pit of lava to your doom.
no. I
course,
think you're
that's
right.
the- that's
I think
the
you're right. It reminded me the exact same way.
But that's a perfect way for him to die, encased in what he wanted, basically money,
Uh-huh.
to rot at the bottom of the sea for eternity. Because he ends up falling into like the ocean, right? Something like
Yeah, just the bottom of the ocean from wherever the ship was.
that. Yep, and they're done.
And I think that's like basically the end of the movie. I don't think we get any explanation on like
Anything else?
who any of these people were, where their powers came from.
So is the series? I'm sorry. Is the series connected to the movie?
It's supposed to be.
Is a movie?
Same director, same everything. It's supposed to be an explanation, I guess. I don't know, but it did so poorly, I don't even want to find out.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's fun at times if you're trying to watch something that's just fucky.
Yeah.
And you really don't have to analyze it, because if you were trying to, there's not much to analyze.
I feel like it's a staple piece of Japanese animation, which is why I'm glad we watched it. You know what I mean? Like, it has, like, this cultural, like, pillar
90s.
point. Yeah, like, it really encompasses, like, that era to the point that it's a good, like, period piece. But you're right. Like, by modern standards, like, even movie-wise or animation-wise or gore, like, there's so many other things you could be watching right now.
I think like it brings up like how we were talking about earlier, how this older style of like coloring is different from what we see nowadays. Like nowadays we see a lot of vibrant colors, a lot of big flashy moves and shit. And then in this, it's more of like a dark, how we said earlier, berserk type theme, which I think is like a big, huge contrast to what we see today.
I agree. And I think Berserk did it better though, because Berserk, like in the earlier like episodes, like the first half of the animated series, like it's a bunch of greens and blues. Like even when it's shitty and medieval and they're all fighting each other with swords, it's still a lot of like really bright blues and greens. And then the second half, or the last like 2-3 episodes, where it starts getting like really evil and really, really dark, it's just a lot of this color palette, this red, brown, black, like gray, like color palette, to the point that like everything starts feeling like gothic.
Yeah.
And it fits, you know what I mean? Demon Slayer, Ninja Scroll doing it this way all the time, like doesn't even make sense. Like you're picking a vibe around, you're picking an art style around a vibe that your actual film doesn't have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very you don't know who the bad guy is. You don't know what is going on. It's just conversation, please.
Just vibes and swords.
I feel it's very mystique. Like everything is just always just.
This is totally the thing I could see sticking with somebody though. Like whenever I've heard Ninja Scroll like talked about, it has like this like bewilderment that a child had when they saw it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's very, it's so. It would stand out in your memory. Like, it's so freaky. As an adult, I'm able to pick it apart. But if you watched this as an adolescent,
kid,
you were like, holy fuck.
I shouldn't be watching this.
There's a lot of moments where it's like it'll stick, like kind of like Berserk, like in in the final moments where everything is going down. There's a lot of moments where like, holy shit, that's gonna stick into my brain. Like for example, when he rips the guy's arms off, doesn't he like drink his blood and all that shit? It's like, dude, that shit's like, holy shit, man. That's gonna stick to
the scene that always stands out to me in Berserk is when, what's it called? The bead, the egg shaped with the face.
Oh, okay,
yes,
yeah. I know what you're talking
the
about.
the crimson stone.
What's it called? The
Crimson
Kingstone, the Crimson Stone,
Kingstone,
whatever it's
yeah.
called. When it flips, like when it actually starts turning to midnight and it like the eyes start bleeding and it gets all ugly, that scene always sticks out in my head.
Dude, yeah, that shit's intense.
Berserk is crazy.
Berserk
But
is crazy.
I think we finally have something to talk about for a Nerd Down, and I think that concludes our discussion on Ninja Scroll. Last minute insight, anybody?
Great animation movie. One thing I did like about this film was the I guess we didn't talk about it much, was the soundtrack, the music. It brings a lot of, like, if you've ever watched old school 90s kung fu movies, it brings a lot it brings a lot of that element, like, into it, like a lot of the music and soundtrack, like a lot of like the drums and all that. Oh dude, I really love the soundtrack in this film. It made the dub a little bit more tolerable, because at least you can enjoy the music. Because yeah, there's some corny ass moments in the dub. Like, that shit is just wow.
And I think that's it for me. Nerd down.
Nerd Down.
Nerd down.
Nerd down.
Welcome back to the Nerd Down, where the nerds get down. That was episode 77.
Episode 77 of Between Nerds podcast. At the beginning of this episode, we do want to remind everyone to use hashtag Down for Nerds. It's DOWNFORNERDS, an original tweet, Instagram post, or YouTube comment to be entered into our January giveaway. For every like and retweet, we will be donating to the Down Foundation of El Paso. And so far, we only have one entry. Please send us your questions, comments, or concerns at betweennerspodcast@gmail.com.
Like us on YouTube. Subscribe to YouTube. Comment on YouTube. Use the hashtag on YouTube as well.
Please do all that. And I think right now something Aldo's been like dying to talk about is episode 2 of Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett.
Did we talk
the Book of
Boba?
Boba?
Yeah, the Book of Boba Fett.
We never talked about episode 1. I don't think we did.
I mean, I'm liking it. I wasn't crazy to talk about it, but I mean, I'm liking it.
I think it's dope. I think it's like I was talking about in our main discussion when it came to like Ninja Scroll.
Mm-hmm.
Is it really, like, Boba Fett was always this character that was in the holiday special. He was talked up so much when it came to the second Star Wars film, and he has like 7 minutes and like 3 lines of dialogue in the actual movie.
But he's supposed to be like a badass.
Right. And this, like, if the Disney Plus shows are actually fleshing out the Star Wars universe, because there was always so much subtext, there's so many things tied behind video games, tied behind books that obviously not everyone's been introduced to. We're finally at the point that we're fleshing out the Star Wars world. And the Book of Boba is one of them, because at the end of The Mandalorian, Boba Fett gets his armor back from Mando, because Boba was the one that helped him fight off the people that were trying to kidnap Grogu, like when he was reaching out through the Force trying to find a master. And basically the plot at the start of episode 1 of the Book of Boba is Boba Fett has taken over the throne of Jabba the Hutt.
Yes. Very cool, because you start seeing, unlike the Mando, which is like a Western kind of thing, there's more of a mobby like vibes.
It still feels a lot of Western a lot of the time. When he's out in the desert, it feels like a Western to me still. Okay,
yes, you're right.
But yeah, he's supposed to be the Kingpin. They call him what's his title? He has some kind of drug lordy title.
Yeah, I don't know what exactly they use. Like, not the mayor, but like the.
He's just like the crime lord. Like we were just talking about the Black Shogun. He's essentially
my city.
Yeah, he's essentially the Black Shogun now. And the political power within the city that he's trying to govern, part of Jabba the Hutt's domain, the mayor, the elected mayor, this highly corrupt politician, is supposedly the one actually calling the shots. Because when Boba is like receiving tribute, the envoy of the mayor shows up and he's just like, "Oh, well, what are you going to do about tribute?" And Boba's like, "Well, what do you mean? You didn't show up with any tribute." And he's like, "No. What are you tributing to the mayor? He would love to have some tribute from you." Which, like, the money isn't even an issue for Boba Fett. It's just, like, the act of giving your daimyo. Your daimyo. They use the word daimyo, the Japanese word daimyo, which is a feudal lord term.
Correct.
They were like, "Hey, I'm the daimyo of this town. Like, you have to pay me." And the mayor's like, "No, I'm the daimyo," or "I don't respect who the daimyo is."
And yeah, they make him They make him say who he works with. He works for the mayor, and then this is where episode 2 starts up, right?
Yeah, because essentially, like, nobody respects Boba Fett as a leader, and they try jumping it in the middle of town.
Oh, and another subplot from episode 1. We know that when Boba Fett got out of the Sarlacc pit, that the Tusken Raiders got him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's been going through this, like, prisoner, POW kind of...
He was basically sold into slavery for a little bit.
Yep.
So, the Tusken Raiders raised him, and we don't know how he got out of there. So then he almost gets jumped in the middle of town while trying to receive tribute from like a really popular bar or club, or it's like a massage parlor. I don't know what the fuck it is. And his main guerrilla assassin captures one of them, and they figure out that it's this highly expensive, highly paid like assassin group. And they press him. They throw him into not the Sarlacc pit, but what was it called in episode 5?
I know
what did they feed them to in episode 5? What did Jabba the Hutt feed them to?
And what, season 2?
No.
In episode 2?
Episode 5.
Episode 5, I mean.
I haven't even seen
No?
far, no.
Anyways, so Jabba the Hutt had a giant monster living underneath his throne that he would throw political prisoners into to like either get them to talk or to like scare them into doing whatever
like
the fuck he said.
shit? Okay.
Yeah. So that's what they do here. They throw him into this pit. Or the assassin that they captured, they throw him into this pit.
A Rancor.
The Rancor pit. Yeah. So they were like, ooh, send him to the Rancor. And he starts shitting himself as soon as he's in the Rancor pit. He's like, oh no, let me out. The mayor sent me. Like, and they opened up the door and the Rancor's gone. Like, they were like, there's not even any Rancor here. You just snitched on everybody for like no reason. So then they walk the assassin all the way to the mayor's office in episode 2. And they cornered the mayor. They're like, yo, what the fuck? This is your assassin. And the mayor, like, pays tribute to the new daimyo. But kind of like as a backhanded insult, he's like, that's not my assassin, though. Like, this dude's lying to you. You don't think there's anybody else out here in town that thinks that you're not the rightful daimyo, that you're not the rightful leader of this land, and that we should pay tribute to you? So, the only other possible people it could be are the owners of the club. Mm-hmm. So, Boba Fett immediately knows, like, I've got to go talk to the bitch that owns the club. And
really cool characters there.
Yeah.
I mean, really good, like, props and stuff, dude. I'm glad they're doing props a lot. The 2 green dudes, you were talking about this, the 2 green hug.
They look like giant pigs, yeah.
Yeah. They look ugly because they're props.
And that's, I was watching episode 2 with my brother Carson yesterday, and one of his things was like, once he started seeing that it was practical effects, I was like, no, dude, it's all practical effects, basically. Except for, like, the backdrops and the scenery, like, that's CGI. But, like, everything, like, in the forefront is basically, like, rubber suits and, like, props. Like, just, like, just old school Star Wars stuff. And, like, once you start seeing, like, everything being in motion in, like, practical effects with a modern camera, but, like, everything's a rubber suit, it looks crazy. Yeah. Which, it looks... like, it's obviously fake. Like, eye obviously picks it up. But it looks so much better than all the CGI nonsense that they were doing in episodes, like, 1 through 3.
Yep. Yep.
Especially in the time when CGI looked like shit. Because, like, Boba's, like, pressing the owner of the club, and he's like, why'd you do this? And they start hearing the drum of, like, a parade, like, of lords of huts coming through the village.
Just walking them in a fucking... what would you call that? Like the raising throne? Yeah.
It's there's they use the word in the show too. Mm-hmm. When you see like movies that are trying to depict like ancient Egypt, which probably aren't accurate, but they like mount the person up by slaves on like a throne built of like a wood platform.
It's like Coffin Boys, but for a throne.
Right, yeah. And on it are Jabba the Hutt's cousins, like 2 giant fat ass huts, like they call them the twins, are like up on this like barricade,
and it's like bended, and like the people under are just dying.
They're just super fucking heavy, just fat as fuck. It's a girl and a boy, and they're totally like wrapped around each other, like super incesty. You know what I mean?
a big ass hut slug creature. I mean, how else would you hang out?
Well, I think what I couldn't stop thinking about is in Star Wars, Clone Wars, they humanize a Hutt Jedi Padawan character at one point, and it's Disney. It was Disney at the time, right? So it's like super. He's a kid, you know what I mean? He's just a regular Disney kid, and he's super upbeat, and he's whatever. And comparing that to like these giant like sloth sluggy things that the actual Hutts are, I'm just like, it was so Disneyified for children with this childish character because they talk like Jabba the Hutt. They're like, "Ooga biga, suck on my dick." Like, you know what I mean? Like Boba Fett sucks. Like just super, just like deep voice, and just like the sister has a giant like bloated fan. Just like brother, we have to kill him. But the wildest part to me is we haven't seen a new Wookiee character model since like the third, since like episode 3, since like since the prequel episode 3,
where they helped Yoda hide.
Right. And those are all CGI Wookiees. Right here we get our first new character costume for like an actual in-person Wookiee that we've had in like 20 fucking years. And it's just he's a black Wookiee as opposed to Chewbacca.
Black Chrysanthemum. That's his name.
And he's tight, you know what I mean? Like, he's scary looking. Like, he's got, like, a bullet vest on him. He's got a giant gun strapped to him. Mm-hmm. And Boba Fett, like, standing his ground to the Hutts, he's like, you know what? Like, I took over Jabba the Hutt's land. Just because you guys are his cousins, like, that doesn't mean shit to me. Like, I'm the official daimyo here. Mm-hmm. And they're like, how do you want to settle this, boy? Because obviously these fat-ass Hutts aren't going to fight. So they're like, do you want to fight our little black Wookiee boy? And he looks scary as fuck. And just knowing, like, in lore, like, how crazy, like, Wookiees are, like, he could just rip off Boba Fett's arm without even trying.
Well, in the comics, in the American comics, these two did a couple of bounties for Darth Vader.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they have a past together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty cool lore, actually.
Yeah, like Black Chrysanthemum is like the Wolverine of like the Wookiees.
And he's tight, and like his character on screen looked tight as fuck. Mm-hmm. And basically the Hutts just fuck off.
Just a dude dressed like Bigfoot, and it's great.
Basically, like, but like it's cool that they were able to show expression in the face because his face does move. The character costume does move. I don't know how, but they got it to move. You know what I mean?
Some guy in the back, like an animatronic,
just on the face.
Yeah,
and Boba's thing is just like, you guys don't want to fight me out here on the street. Like, that's not official. Like, no one's going to listen to that. So they do just kind of fuck off. Mm-hmm. And that's what's cool about, like, these Boba Fett episodes is they're short. Like, they're only, like, 30-minute episodes. So, like, that happens in 15 minutes. And the second 15 minutes of this episode, of episode 2, is going back to when Boba Fett was sold into slavery to the Tusken Raiders, and he's like they're seen as like this very traditional, like Native American-ish kind of culture, like how Star Wars is famous for stealing from cultures, like how in the prequels, like Japanese culture, like supposedly people were pissed, or like
it's fucking Kevin Costner's Dancing with Wolves, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So these characters, like
at that point, it's like. You're just drawing from the world around you, so it's like,
yes,
how can you be mad? You know what I mean?
am. I was really glad because at this point I didn't know a lot about the Tusken Raiders.
No one did. I don't think they've ever been expanded on.
Do you know what I'm saying? So this expansion to this crazy fucking guy, like in the prequels. I mean, not in the prequels, the fucking original,
the main series.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's cool. I liked it. Maybe it dragged in a little bit too much, and I don't know. You were talking about the fighting scenes too. They look like Power Ranger fighting scenes.
Yeah. So, like, especially in episode 1, like it looks like people like queuing up for a fight. Like how in Power Rangers, it's like, oh, if I'm the clay generic bad guy, you can tell like in the background, like they're waiting to get hit or waiting to duck.
Oh, okay, I get you.
You get what I mean? Like that super tacky, like fight the main guy one at a time. And right here, we're not far from New Mexico. It reminds me of like native New Mexico, like Native American culture, like how they like chilled in the desert and like they knew their way around the desert and could find like super like secretive like water sources
elephants.
and yeah. So he's just chilling with the Tusken Raiders one time. He's learning how to fight with their fucking ceremonial sticks. I don't know what the fuck it is. and one day, like a train, like a freight train, is just like gliding through the desert and just starts blasting these fools, just on every side. Like just starts blasting the Tusken Raiders, and like half of their clan dies. And then that's when Boba Fett is like, wow, I really have to help these people. So we spend the rest of this episode, he steals gliders from like a local mercenary group for hire.
Bar.
Yeah, at a bar. He just has a whole ass bar fight, just jumps all these dudes, steals their gliding bikes, and then takes it back to the Tusken Raiders. The Tusken Raiders don't know what a gliding bike is because they're so like...
They're just fucking it up.
Yeah, they just start tearing it apart for pieces. So then he's like, no. And they speak with like sign language. So it's like Boba Fett, I teach you to glide.
So primitive.
Exactly. It's super like demonstrative how it treats them. Like it demeans them so hard.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, because it does seem like pushed.
Yeah, so...
Whoa.
That's what I'm saying. It really is that Dancing with Wolves thing. Like, bald white guy learns how to help native people to, like, fight off other mean white people.
Yeah, and now we're good.
Yeah, it's the plot to Pocahontas. I don't know. So, he trains them how to ride on the gliders and how to jump from gliders to each other so that they can, like, board the freight train, because it's like...
It's also a high fucking velocity fucking train.
Yeah, this thing's going like 1,000 miles an hour or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. Big old steel cages.
So
I mean, it's Star Wars, so of course things are moving fucking fast. Have you seen like the traffic? Like when people are flying like they're fucking cruisers and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Of course things are going.
Bro, remember that one Star Wars 64 game? Well, I had it for the 64. But it was a Star Wars game, and one of the levels had you like you were in the back of some trains and you had to run forward.
I've never owned a Star Wars game.
I did.
Which is why I'm glad that they're redoing Knights of the Old Republic.
I've actually played Jedi Academy. I think that's what it was. I think. Oh, dude, it's actually super. I played for the computer. Super fun.
Well, that's why I'm not only glad that they're doing Knights of the Old Republic, but Knights of the Old Republic is canon story.
Oh wow.
So which like. It was canon at the time, but like when Disney bought Star Wars, they like reset the canon. So they said that all the expanded canon, unless explicitly said by Disney, is not canon. So technically, Knights of the Old Republic isn't canon. But as soon as Disney remakes it, it becomes canon. It becomes canon. And like a lot of the presumed like best characters in the lore come out of like the Knights of the Old Republic games.
Are they making it like to like? Are they sticking to?
That's what they said, but we haven't seen anything from it yet. So
I mean, we all know how Disney is. So
these the people on this train, I don't even know what the fuck they're called. They're like
they're a clan. They're also like a weird clan, a mob clan.
But it's like capitalism. Like they belong to a company that is okay with shooting Tusken Raiders out in the desert because they're securing their route. Yeah, and the Tusken Raiders are just savages anyway, so who cares? So
quote unquote, by the way, I said.
Quote unquote, yeah. So they have this crazy ass scene. It like they do the 2D like old boy scene where it's like the horizontal scene of like one of the Tusken Raiders leaders just like punching everybody inside of the train and flipping them out and kicking them out of the train, while like our main group, including Boba Fett, is like trying to like scale the top of the train. And I love that like. Because it's like so canon Star Wars, like the droids are really weird. You know what I mean? Because that's how the droids always were supposed to be. They're really dorky and like, like panicky, and so the droid like driving the train, he's just freaking out that people are on the train, so he keeps making it go faster and faster and faster.
And all this shit is like all props, bro. All props, and it looks great. You see, like
it's super steampunky looking props. Yeah,
it's like this shit right here. It looks crazy.
So. Boba Fett makes it to the front of the train, like just kind of like pulls the lever back, and that like forces the train to like nosedive into the desert. And then just the Tusken Raiders being Tusken Raiders, they like raid the train. They start pulling out. They take prisoners, and they start like interviewing the guys that were running the train. They're like, "Where were you going? Do you have the illegal drug spice that's made out here in the desert?" Which is exactly like the spice in a Dune, which is like the main that's like the main plot to Dune is that like they're trying to enslave like this desert civilization, take over all their land, so that they can mine spice to put everybody on drugs and like so that they can navigate through space.
Yes.
And right here, it reminded me a lot of Dune. It's just like, where's the spice? Where's the desert spice? And then they just, and the guys are just like, no, we don't have any spice, we promise. And then the Tusken Raiders just pull out like a giant like tub of spice, and Boba Fett's just like, that's literally spice. Like, so then what's really going on? So they let them all go as like a warning. Like, you are only walking through the desert as a gift from the Tusken Raiders. Because even the guys, when they're given their lives, they're like squid guys or whatever. Like, they take off their masks and they just have, like, tentacles coming out of their faces. Yeah, they're like the blind, like, 5-starred mole or whatever.
Or the Kraken dude from
Pirates
of the Caribbean.
Yeah, they look like the Kraken guy from Pirates of the Caribbean. And Boba Fett tells them, like, no, like, you'll get safe passage through the desert because you're under the protection of the Tusken Raiders.
And you are to pay something if you want to use these dunes or some shit like that.
Right. So then that night, as like an indoctrination, they officially introduce Boba Fett into one of the Tusken Raiders. So, like how in Prejudice films they'll show like them smoking
the piece of pipe, the pipe.
Yeah, but what's that drug called?
Peyote.
Peyote, right. They'll smoke the ceremonial peyote and like trip, and then you'll be one of us. But here, they're just like, Boba, I have a gift for you. And they pull out like a little cage, and it's just a lizard's in it. And Boba Fett just being nice, he's like, oh, this is a beautiful lizard. I love this lizard. And the lizard just like goes into his nose and starts acting like peyote and like makes him trip in the desert, and he finds like a secret oasis where this one tree is living. It reminds me of the tree from like Lion King when Simba sees like his dead dad and finds Rafiki. It reminds me of that scene exactly. So Boba grabs that branch, takes it back to the Tusken Raider village, like his original Tusken Raider village, and it's just like, I found branch. And this branch is what they're going to use to make his ceremonial beating stick, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
So that he can complete the ritual to become a Tusken Raider.
And it's crazy. It's a good fucking like montage of things to see. Because I mean the staff is pretty dope, you know, and wherever this fucking season is going, it seems like we're done with the Tusken Raiders though.
Yeah, and I think that's what's kind of the cool part. Because it reminds me of like Disney Plus shows where the plot only half moves forward every episode, but then it's like reintroducing you to like the background staging like the entire time. So it's not slow pacing because stuff's always happening, but they give you like the end. They start you off halfway through like in the beginning, but then they'll pull you back to the front like the latter half of the episode.
Yeah, and they're like an hour. So
yeah. They feel shorter. They feel a lot shorter. Like when I was saying 30 minutes earlier, it feels like 30 minutes. It feels like you just turn it on and it's just like done.
Like an anime episode, actually.
Like an anime episode. Well, like One Piece episodes really are like 12 minutes, though.
Yeah, dude. Honestly.
One Piece episodes have literally like 12 minutes of content.
Just in the middle of that episode.
Yeah.
For like 5 minutes.
And, I don't know. Do you guys want to talk about anything else in Nerd Down right now?
Yeah, actually, if you guys like murder mysteries or anything, stuff like that, and you have HBO Max, I would highly recommend you watch the show, The Murders at White House Farm.
What is that?
Oh, okay. It's this story about it's somewhere in it's like a British farm in the 1980s, and it's these murders that happened in this like one isolated farm in this like one rural area, and it's just dude, you have to. Oh my god, I guarantee you will like it, dude. It's fucking trippy.
What is it called again?
Good. The Murders at White House Farm.
So it's just Skyrim.
No. It's not just, dude. I'm telling you. Well, maybe it may be one of those like random ass quests you have to like figure out. But, dude, watch the show. I promise you. And if you like Game of Thrones,
I love Game of Thrones.
the fact that you love Game of Thrones, there's a few actors from Game of Thrones that are in this show. So hopefully they'll like attract
And it's an HBO Max original. When did it come out?
To be honest, I don't know when it came out exactly, but I just know that for example, one of the detectives that comes on in the show, he plays what's his name? I can't remember what his name is, but he's a pretty good actor. Once you see him, you'll recognize him. But he plays he's in one of the fucking Flintstones movies. He plays Fred Flintstone.
What the fuck?
Dude, I'm telling you, dude, he's okay from Game of Thrones. He's dude, man, I can't remember which fucking character he is. He's the husband of Cersei at the very, very, very beginning.
Oh, the Fat King?
Yeah, the Fat King. That's him.
Oh, okay. You know what game I bought recently that I was super excited about? I bought Nier Automata, which is like do you know what the character B2 is? Like, she's cosplayed like a lot. Like, white hair, short bobbed wig, like eye patch or like an eye patch over all her faces.
Yes. I know who you're talking
She's
about.
cosplayed a fuck ton.
Yes, I know who you're
And
talking
I
about.
never knew where she was from. And then this one cosplayer on Reddit just did B2 one time, and I was like, who is this? Like, I'm tired of seeing who this is and not knowing what. I thought it was an anime. I thought it was a gacha game, like an iPhone game, like like just some character that you buy, like all those other gacha games, like Reconnect or whatever. And it ends up it's a whole ass like PlayStation series by Square Enix. And I'm like, oh, no shit. It's like Final Fantasy or something like that. So I bought it the other day just so that I can finally play through it, because after more than a year, I'm finally almost done with the Persona 5 like extended version. So I'm going to need like another RPG to play.
Did you play the Persona 5, the newest one that just came out? I think it was like last year, the Persona 5 Strikers?
Not the sequel. Not the sequel. I
was debating getting it or not. But I've never played it, so I don't know what it's like.
It's because I got the Persona 5 edition with the DLC in it, which is like 70 hours of gameplay.
God damn.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's been taking me like a whole ass fucking year to play it. And then there's Persona 5 Strikers, which is like the sequel that you're talking about, which is supposed to be only air quotes only like 20 hours of gameplay.
God damn.
So like, no, I haven't played the sequel. But I'm really glad to get Nier Automata finally, and to finally figure out what makes B2 so special. I still haven't played any Legend of Zelda in the past month.
I've been recently playing Breath of the Wild since, I mean, as you guys know, I got the LED Switch, so I've been in love with that fucking thing. So I've been playing a lot more Breath of the Wild now that I can play on my TV, and it looks much more nicer. So I'm super excited for Breath of the Wild 2, actually, when it comes out. And January 28th, Legend of Arceus.
Hold on, let me finish on Breath of the Wild real quick.
Go ahead.
I bought both of the DLCs for Breath of the Wild, and I never finished the second one.
Are they worth it? Because I've been debating getting it or not, to be honest.
Because I got
rush through the end, bro. Honestly, if you don't want to be disappointed, finish the ending as fast as you can.
As you can, yeah.
And then just keep doing everything else.
I know you can get inside the castle like super fast, right? Like you just have to like once you
beat like the 4 shrines or whatever, which you can do really early if you really want to. Like you don't have to do any of the side stuff.
Wait, the 4 shrine or the 4
beasts or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So, but the DLCs are like, one is the Master Sword trial, where you actually air quotes unlock the actual power of the Master Sword.
I did that. That's pretty cool.
Which like, I wish that had come out before I defeated the final boss. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're telling me I purposely went in there with an underpowered sword, or the other one like just like goes into the backstory of the 4 heroes of Zelda's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the people that ran the Divine Beast.
Oh, okay. Oh, shit. Wow, that's crazy. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not too far into the game. I've only defeated the elephant and the eagle.
There's no story. There's no story.
Sorry, I apologize.
You could have gone like a different path too.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, man. Like, I get so immersed. It's how I feel like in Skyrim, dude. I get so immersed in the game. I just like explore, and next thing you know, 10 hours later, I'm fucking.
That's why I like I almost said Ninja Scroll. That's why I liked Elder Scrolls Oblivion so much.
Dude, I love that game, man.
I never played Morrowind, but they always say Morrowind's the best one.
I've never played Morrowind.
But Morrowind seems like it's so old. Like somebody new couldn't even pick it up.
I think it's one of those like computer games where you have to like
actually
Dante
input
Inferno.
commands.
no, I
Dante
think
Inferno
you have
kind
to
of
put in a command for everything that you do instead of actually going about and doing things. So it's kind of like, is it worth it? I don't know.
I wish that what's the studio that produces those games?
Bethesda.
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 That Bethesda hadn't been bought by Xbox.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
it's like we've been waiting so long for Elder Scrolls 6, the sequel to Skyrim, and it's going to be an Xbox exclusive.
And it's been so long. Skyrim has been available like on your fucking microwave at this point.
For like 10, 11
years.
years,
Like
bro.
everything has Skyrim at this point. Like literally any electric device that can connect to the internet has fucking Skyrim available.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, man. But that's how desperate people are for Elder Scrolls 6. Elder Scrolls 6.
And it's going to be a Microsoft exclusive, and I'm going to be pissed.
I'm
gonna
not,
be
because
pissed.
I'm still Team Xbox, man. I'm sorry.
But that's what sucks, because like PlayStation has like, at least for the past like 15 years, has had the better exclusives. But
Yes,
now,
they have.
But now all of a sudden, this one studio, Bethesda, a studio I actually gave a shit about, like being bought out by Microsoft sucks so bad. Like
so hard. Well, for you.
for me,
But yeah, for you guys. PlayStation.
Yep.
and I don't know. I don't have a whole lot. It's a Monday night, so I don't think I'm trying to do a whole lot of recording.
I'm chilling, man.
The only thing I can think of is I recently got the.
Hold on, you want to talk about Pokemon Arceus?
Oh yes.
My
movie
bad, and I
or
cut
the
you off.
game?
No.
The game that comes out in 2
Legend of
weeks.
Arceus, January 28th. Go get that.
There's
shit.
also a
That shit's-
Yu-Gi-Oh set that comes out that day. I'm
is it really?
gonna have a busy ass weekend that
Oh
weekend.
wow, that sounds busy as fuck. For
And,
you
and we're
specifically.
getting a ban list like next week. I mean, honestly, I hate that I think like that because like somebody can't even tell me some other nerd shit. Like, oh, be excited about Pokemon's Arceus, and I pre-ordered it like 3 months ago. You know what I mean? Like as soon as the pre-orders went up, like I pre-ordered it.
How mad would you be if like I just randomly joined a tournament and just like I beat you one of these days?
You wouldn't. It's because it's not even like that. It's like, especially with Yu-Gi-Oh, it's like. It's Yu-Gi-Oh! Out of the big 3 card games, like Pokemon, Magic, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the least approachable card game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the rulings are so,
Strict?
like, not even strict, but like, it's like the game just makes it up sometimes, and you're just expected to know it. So people that have been playing for a while obviously know it, but like everyone else, like that was the hardest part for me for trying to get into it. It was like, how would I have ever known that? Like, if I'm literally reading these cards in front of my face, I would have never understood that ruling. And they're just like, I don't know. It's just how it works.
That's when you gotta trust in the heart of the cards.
That doesn't, it's not a thing. But that's not a thing. That's what I'm saying. And I'm super excited. I was going through, I don't know if you watch any Let's Players on YouTube.
I do, actually.
Not just Twitch streamers, but Let's Players.
Mm-hmm.
I follow Austin John Plays on YouTube, and he was talking about like the 210 like confirmed Pokemon for Pokemon Legends Arceus, and that got me really excited. Like people that from leaks from like people that usually have really like solid leaks or things that have been revealed through the trailers or through official press releases. We already have a really good sense of who the 210 Pokemon are. And there's like 10 or 15 like regional forms or regional evolutions that we've never seen before. We don't even know.
Oh, dude, I love when they bring you.
And they're all going to come out within the next like 2 weeks. I'm so excited.
I know. Dude, man, the inner nostalgia. I've been playing Pokemon for years, man. Centuries.
I think Pokemon Red was my first video game ever.
Is it really?
Yeah, because
Red? I think for me it was yellow, I believe.
I had the lime green Game Boy Color.
Me too.
And Pokemon Red. And the only reason I remember that is because my parents were getting divorced at the time, like 1997, 1998. And I was spending a lot of time with my grandpa. And my grandpa was like, my dad was always kind of a bum, you know what I mean? So like, my grandpa was always like the man in my life, you know what I mean? And like, and my mom was his favorite kid. So like, my mom going through a hard time and like fighting like clinical depression and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
he was usually the one in charge of me, especially when he was out of work. And he was always like about it. And that's why I always remember like him just taking me to the Walmart by my grandma's house, just randomly, just on some random like weekday even, just being like, what do you want? What do you want? Like, and just like, oh, I don't know, Grandpa, I saw this on TV. It's a Game Boy. And you, at the time, like what, $150 for a console was like crazy expensive. You know what I mean? Like $40 for a game, $100 for a console in 1997, 1998. Like that's a lot of money. You know what I mean? And that fool just like, nah, like you need this. Like your mom's going through it, you're going through it. Like here, this is yours. This. Not a birthday, not a Christmas. Grandpa just like wanted to make sure I was all right.
That's dope.
And I'll always remember that, bro.
That's dope. That's dope. I think my first Game Boy, actually definitely my first was also a lime green. Christmas. My mom got me one and it was, it came with Pokemon Crystal actually like inside the, like loaded up inside the cartridge and everything. I was like, dude, I don't even know where the fuck she got that from. To this day, I still don't know where the fuck she got that from. Thought that was so fucking tight.
Pokemon, and that's what's crazy. Like Pokemon Crystal came out like 4 years later. Because like I was living in Germany when Pokemon Crystal came out. Oh shit. Because like I'm an army brat. You know what I mean? Like my mom remarried like an army guy, and we were living in Germany at the time. And I remember just being so ridiculously excited because to our house in Germany, I used to get like issues of North American Nintendo Power like delivered to the house. They would be like forwarded from the US to like our house in Germany. I remember just like opening up Nintendo Power and like being like, new Pokemon game, 100 new Pokemon Gold and Silver is coming out. Be like, what the fuck? Like there's gonna be 100 new like 5-year-old Drew, like I mean like 7-year-old Drew, just like what the fuck, new Pokemon? Like
100 of them?
100 of them things. Like I've already had to deal with 150. Like what do you mean?
And then the Game Boy was so, dude, to this day I still remember. I mean, obviously the Game Boy didn't have light like on the back screen or anything like that. So, dude, to this day I still remember like my mom would be driving home late at night or whatever, and obviously no light since it's dark, and just having to hold the fucking Game Boy up
from the light, from the street light.
Exactly, bro. Every time it passed up, I would make my next move. Like, oh man. Nostalgic.
I remember just begging my mom, can I turn the light on in the car? Like, and like, yes. I don't know if your parents lied to you like this, but they would be like, no, if the light's on in the car,
we're all gonna die.
It's illegal and we're all gonna die or something.
Yeah, we're all gonna fucking die.
They'd be like, no, the cop's gonna come pull us over because the light's on. I'm like, why the fuck would the cop?
Exactly.
At adult age, like, why the fuck would they pull us over for that?
But now as adults, we know cops will pull you over for everything.
Anything.
Yeah.
So maybe mom was right.
Yeah.
But you don't want to get stopped by the police.
But yeah, Pokemon Arceus is like this is the kind of game people have been begging from the Pokemon company for like 30 years already.
What I like is that it's the concept of Pokemon, but before it was like commercial to like capture them all.
Well,
and
it's not just that. It's just that like people have been wanting open world Pokemon for forever.
For a while.
For forever. Because I remember how big of a deal it was when the Pokemon GameCube games came out, like Colosseum and like Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. How big of a deal it was that like, no, these are Pokemon games where you're not just trying to get badges. Like you actually have like something you're trying to accomplish.
Man, I remember Pokemon Colosseum. I wish
Coliseum
they would remake that. Yeah.
Oh, no, Colosseum.
Oh, really?
I'm talking about Colosseum. I know what Pokemon Stadium is, obviously.
I remember Pokemon Colosseum.
It's because Pokemon Stadium was the mini game Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
Right? So that's Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2 for the Nintendo 64. Yeah. Pokemon Colosseum was for the GameCube. And it was an actual plot line. Okay. It was you are somebody that used to work for a team, like the bad guy teams in Pokemon. It was like Team Steel or something, where you had, and it was always double battles. You had an Umbreon and Espeon who were already like level 30, and you escape from the team. You steal the technology that you put on your arm that lets you turn your Pokeball evil and lets you steal other players' Pokemon.
Whoa.
Pokemon Colosseum, I'm telling you. So your whole thing was you couldn't steal anybody's Pokemon. Because you're the new moral guy that like escaped from the team, right? So whenever you fought the opposing team members, you could steal their Pokemon because all their Pokemon were stolen, and you could choose to like find their owners, or you could just like keep their fucking Pokemon. And then Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness was kind of like the sequel to that, but like 10 years later, where like you could steal Pokemon again, but the team had turned Pokemon into Shadow Pokemon. So the main villain was somebody that had a Shadow Lugia, where they just turned it evil.
Okay, I never knew where the whole Shadow concept came from. So that I guess that's
it's from Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness.
Okay, no wonder. Because that's, I mean, if you've ever played Pokemon Go, there's obviously Shadow Pokemon that you have to like.
Well, that XD Gale of Darkness was really a big deal in Gen 3 because it was the only way to legally get Lugia into Gen 3.
Oh, okay.
Because you couldn't import from Gen 2. Or maybe it was Gen 4. So you had to have the setup where you could like import your games from a GameCube. And that was the only way to get a Lugia. And it knew like a certain move that only like that Lugia would know.
Aeroblast, I'm guessing.
No. Aeroblast is the mainstream like Lugia move.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's how Pokemon Legends of Arceus feels. It's like, it's finally like, yo, like we're really just out here Breath of the Wild style just with Pokemon. Like, it seems like it's going to have like catching objectives, like catch 5 Bidus, and we'll unlock something else about like the Bidu
community or whatever.
Yeah, evolution line or whatever.
I think it's really, a really good kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. I think it's a good like reach out for people that don't normally play Pokemon,
right?
But that play other maybe like MMOs or RPGs, and that are like, well, maybe I'll
because
give it a
like
shot
Pokemon
now.
is like the most successful RPG ever, right?
Yeah.
But it's dated in the concept. Like even Sword and Shield is still like get 8 badges, go up the thing, fight the big monster, and then go fight the Elite Four.
I mean, even for example, when I played Brilliant Diamond, like playing through all. Well, one thing I really like is that, and what they did in this version is, I think they did it in the original one as well. But like, what I like that they do now is that after you beat the gym badges and like the Elite Four or whatever, you can re-challenge them, and everybody's like incredible.
That's how Gen 4 always was.
Yeah, I never. The only one I ever played was Brilliant Diamond, but I don't remember being able to play them again. You know what I mean? Like challenge them again.
That's why people like Gen 4 though, because it had like so much like after game like stuff to do. Yeah, like the challenge tower and all that other stuff.
Oh, dude, the battle tower right now is so tight.
I'm just fuck. It's just
49 wins in a row. Join the Master League. That shit. I think right now I'm at 32 wins, but it's tough, dude. It's fucking hard.
I'm just super excited for Arceus, and I guess we'll let you know more about my thoughts on Pokemon Legends of Arceus in a couple weeks. This upcoming Monday. The episode coming out on January 18th. We're recording the episode on January 11th. Episode 78 will feature Jacob Bonuelos, hopefully, and we're going to be talking about plastic memories. And this has been episode 77 of Between Nerds Podcast. My name is Drew Philip Elias. This is Christopher James. This is Aldo Mendez. This is Between Nerds. Thank you, everybody. This has been Between
Nerds.